Da, 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 da. Yep, haven't done any music video for the starting yet. I'm just going to do it by hand. Da, 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 da. No, I'm kidding. Hi, everybody. I'm glad you guys could come tonight. I appreciate my loyals, my faithfuls. I show up every time because I'm amazing people. Thank you for being here. Jen, thanks for coming in. You know, I love talking
Oh,
with
for
you.
sure. Yeah.
For sure, for sure. And we were just discussing gender and transitioning and stuff like that. And Jen was saying how the hobbies and the stuff you pick up and the things that you enjoy doesn't necessarily denote whether you're male or female born. So if you want to continue with that, Jen.
Yeah, like, so I mean, gender roles are kind of dumb in their own right because people can do whatever they want regardless of gender identity or sexuality, because like sometimes doing certain things might make others like stereotype you as a sexuality you may or may not be.
Right.
Anyone can do whatever they want, but there is still things that are considered more masculine and more feminine. And what I've noticed a lot is, and we were talking about this earlier. Kids sometimes gravitate more towards the type of hobbies of the gender they identify with later on in life. Like I, for one, was into baking and cooking, and you know, doing creative stuff
Right.
instead of doing.
Where I was avoiding the cooking, outside playing with the GI Joes, digging in the dirt with the boys, and playing with Dad's guns. Right. Go ahead, Jen.
No, yeah, that's like perfect because yeah, I was like not really into sports. I didn't really like playing outside. I mean, I did when I was a little kid, right? But like as I grew up, I stopped liking getting dirty. Um and yeah, I mean, there's there's not much more to my point other than that. Like I don't know.
Just
My
the
brain is a little
stereotypes.
scattered.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just the
I sm-
stereotypes behind it. Everybody thinks, that's like pretty much everybody I know that are younger people and having kids right now are they dress them in all colors. Doesn't matter. My friends who just had the baby, their son, he runs around in mommy's shirts sometimes, and they like dresses on him. He just wears whatever he's comfortable in that day, and it should be his choice. He's
yeah.
got a baby doll, everything from a baby doll to little guy toys, like he's got all that stuff. So hi, Cadence.
Hey B. Hey
how,
Genesis.
how are you,
Hello.
sweetheart?
Not too bad for a Monday.
Yeah, well,
It is
this
Monday.
is the end of my weekend. I work through Saturday, so Sunday and Monday is my weekend, so I'm still chilling.
I've got the Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
See, now that would be nice. It's nice because so many people have that, and then you have time to do other things with people. That's always nice. Absolutely. Hi, Will and Ox and Theo. Thank you for coming. No, you sound good, Cadence. No echo.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so anyway, so we were just talking about like the stereotypes of genders and what everybody thinks they should be.
It's
And
so
how awful it is to make a child. I mean, my mom knew when I was little. She said, "You're just so independent," and that's what she called it, independent. I was independent and tough, as a child. And I don't know why I never came out to her. She had to have known. She gave up on the makeup thing at 16. She knew I wasn't going to wear that shit. So maybe she knew, and I just wasted my time and didn't tell her.
That is something we have in common. My mom gave up on the makeup thing when I was 16 too, except the makeup thing was her telling me not to wear it.
I swear to God, for my 16th birthday, my sister bought me a white shirt with a pink flamingo on it. I lived in the woods in the country. Like, where the fuck am I going to wear that? I didn't live in like Orlando, Florida. And it had a pink cardigan style, like thin summer jackety thing over top that was bright pink, the same color as the flamingo. And it was like, oh my God, I have that picture somewhere. It's hilarious because I like posed with it like and stuck my tongue out because I felt fucking ridiculous. And then my mom bought me makeup and my sister like did me up and I was like, man, lipstick on what? A cow, a pig? What are you guys doing right now? Like, this is just weird. And then after that, she never bothered with me with it again. So, thankfully.
I should buy some makeup. I ran out of makeup when I left my apartment in Orlando because like I just threw it all out because there was no space at my parents. But I might start wearing makeup on streams because I don't look hot because I'd never think I look hot, but like I look more femme, which is a good thing for me.
Right.
And it's not always about trying to look femme, but it's about how you feel about yourself when you're wearing it.
Exactly. You put makeup on me, I feel like this.
Yeah.
And then I put on jeans and a baseball cap and a pair of boots, and I'm like, what's up?
I wore makeup. I wore makeup most of my college because I wanted to, and I felt good about it. But it was never over the top.
And it doesn't have to be.
I go all out.
Just a little something to make yourself feel better, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I go full corpse paint, black parade.
Oh, Jen, what are we going to do with you?
I want to look like a necromancer, okay? If I'm not scaring people, I'm not doing it right.
I've done that once or twice.
I guess I'm not as femme as I think because whereas many people put on makeup to feel beautiful, I put on makeup to look inhuman.
Yeah, well, as long as it makes you happy, who cares? That's how you're not hurting anybody. That's my only thing. That's my rule. Did you rape, murder, or hurt anyone? No. Then do whatever you want.
Well,
I don't care beyond that. Just don't hurt anybody else.
I guess I better not tell you how the lipstick is made. Don't pay attention to the corpses in the background.
Right. Oh my goodness. I hate makeup. It tastes like shit, huh, Ox?
Well, you're not supposed to eat it.
Well, stay out of the damn strip bars. Quit licking the strippers' tits. Did you do anything like that, Cadence, as a child in your original personages as you were born? I guess you could say what you were born into, whether you liked it or not.
No, I can honestly say I've never eaten makeup when I was little.
No, I no, I mean that's great.
That was a good
no,
one.
I meant, did you play with like girls' toys, boys' toys? Did you play with both? Was there anything like that was non-stereotypical for you?
I grew up in the deep south of Louisiana, born male, of course. So, yeah, it was always, playing in the mud and having the boys' toys and everything like that. So, yeah, I grew up with a mom who did not like that at all. I was lucky I was able to grow my hair out. That was about it.
Right. Sam.
It's a Sam.
It is a Sam.
Is my audio all right?
Yes.
Sound good?
Yep. Good. How are you guys?
Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
I smoked 2 grams of weed and it hasn't kicked in yet, so I'm a ticking time bomb. I'll let you know in 5 minutes.
No, we were talking about how, well, it just so happens that all three of us have in common that we were interested in things as children as we feel as ourselves of adults and not as we were born.
Mm-hmm.
So we were just talking about the non-stereotypical stuff we did, like me playing with G.I. Joes and Legos and not wanting to bake or play. I played with my Barbie once. I took all the clothes off her, put them on backwards, upside down, inside out. And I tried to give her like a mustache or something. And I threw her in the corner. I never played with her again. It lasted for like 30 minutes.
Fair. I defied lots of stereotypes, but only kind of within my kind of church I grew up in. For example, my dad let me read Harry Potter.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I was just growing up. Harry Potter was the devil.
Oh,
Who doesn't?
right. Yeah, definitely devil. Absolutely.
Oh, I'm a bunch of things that are evil and sinful. I am no now I'm pagan, but I'm also genderqueer and queer and neurodivergent. Seriously, my autism was considered a thing of Satan.
Oh, that's lovely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's things that come with my autism, like special interests. One of my special interests is hypnotism, which was considered a sin.
Okay. That's
So
all it's sin. Everything's sinful. Okay.
yeah, my entire existence was just fuck the church, just by accident. I was trying to be a Christian.
I was really trying, I swear, Mom. Oh my goodness. Yeah, it's crazy. So if you took all those initials and put them all together, what would you have? Like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious?
Oh, quite
Like all
possibly.
the
At this point, the only letter of the alphabet mafia that never applies to me, as best I can tell, is intersex.
Fair enough. Cool, Purple. Thank you.
Oh,
Fair
Apple.
enough. Yeah, Jem was saying before we came on about welding and how, it's more of a guy thing. And I said, well, I've seen and known of women in my life who were welders, and when they went home and cleaned up, they'd put on a dress and makeup, and they were fucking hot. So
yeah,
that's where the stereotype conversation started. I was
I
like,
mean,
it's one of those stereotypical jobs. Like when everybody thinks of a truck driver, they automatically go to guy. Guy with like a cowboy hat or a baseball cap and cowboy boots or work boots. That's what it always is. But there's actually a lot of female drivers, like a lot.
my ex Rose is a blacksmith.
Mm-hmm.
And so she is defying expectations, although I think some of her family still see that as a masculine thing, and because she's a trans woman. So I think some of her family are being funny, but only on one side of the family, and the rest of them are being like, is a woman, is a blacksmith, chill.
Right. Yep, G.I. Joe needs a girlfriend. Why didn't she just buy you another G.I. Joe? Damn it, Grandma. No, I'm kidding.
Put a wig on it.
You're right. Theo says, Purple, please make them talk slower. My slow Swiss brain cannot keep up with Sam.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forget my accent makes it difficult for a lot of Americans to understand me, and then my neurodivergent brain just starts spewing out like 100 words a minute or some shit.
Yeah, me and my friend / landlord over here, we went to a store in Colorado today and purchased some fun items. So anyways, we were driving and damn, see, I started thinking about that. I forgot where I was going. Sorry, it's good. So I got a little scatterbrained.
I love it when that happens. Just like train of thought falls off a cliff.
Right. Well, they're basically non-binary, but prefers the feminine side. And I'm going to tell you one of the sweetest, kindest, caring people I have met in I don't know how long. Like, they're just amazing. Absolutely amazing person. And it was fun because it was like a I guess like a 3-hour drive-ish, somewhere in there, and each way. And so it was a good fun trip. Nice conversation. So yeah, I don't remember what I was saying.
That's fair. That sounds like a fun trip out, actually, especially given we're in the middle of the Backstreet Boys reunion tour.
Ew, are we?
That's what. Sorry. There's a thing going around that's what we're referring to the Rona as.
Oh my god. The
How
Backstreet
apt.
Boy reunion tour? Yeah, that
How
is
apt
torturous.
does it feel?
That would be torturous. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so the point that I'm really going towards, of course, is equality. And the fact that those stereotypes really hold people back, because it's not just the big things, it's the little things in life we see in here. But those stereotypes hold us back from hello, Randolph.
Hi, Randolph.
Hey,
Thanks for
Hayden,
coming.
Haven't seen you for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, where the hell you been? No. Just saw you. But yeah, the stereotypes that are created about any group just makes us more divided, and keeps people, like kids growing up, from opening their brains to other other ideas and other opinions and other anything that they weren't taught as children.
And it's just so archaic of a concept too.
I'm sorry?
Yeah.
So it's just so archaic of a concept too.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean,
Yeah. My best mate is femme presenting, and they are trying to get into the games industry as an artist, and that's like heavily male dominated. So, to the point where she started freaking out recently when they had a female teacher the other day.
Right.
I guess it's different in Canada here because my daughter's getting into 3D animation and finding that it's fairly close to equal here. So, for the stereotyping stuff you're talking about, I call that pattern matching gone wild.
Oh, right.
Oh,
that's great, Randolph.
Yeah. Also, thanks, Theo. I'm glad you think so, because in terms of British accents, it's a relatively shit one.
I think it's great.
It sounds like one of the better ones here in Canada, I tell you. So you're in a good place, Sam.
Fair. I mean, in fairness, 10 miles down the road is Chavtown, as we lovingly refer to it, so could be worse.
Oh, theoretically is commenting about the West Wall, which is just visible behind me here. And today I'm working on the southwest corner, and then I'll be building the south wall.
Ah.
I know you like
this.
Yes,
it is Randolph and the West Wall. Good call, Theo.
Yeah, Theo's on the ball here.
Yeah, he really is. Oh, we love Theo.
Yeah.
So that's what I think is the biggest problem is, we teach our children stuff to help them grow and to better understand what's coming at them as being an adult, and we try to get them to reason better and think better and all this stuff, but our own biases and our own habits, which I think a lot of them are just habits that we got handed down from our parents and they got them from their parents and so on. We get a habit of a state of mind, and then we give that to our children. Mm-hmm. And even if we have the best of intentions, because we let our bias guide that child's education at home, that it messes everything up.
Yeah.
It causes racism to continue. It causes stereotypes to continue. It causes the little kid who's only been to church and been sheltered to not understand why that person might look like a guy or a girl and doesn't know which. I get that all the time. Are you a boy or a girl? And the mother's like, shh. And I'm like, no, it's fine. No. Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, no, I'm fine. Kids learn by asking questions. Let them ask.
I feel that especially like gender stereotypes are perpetuated more in the US than elsewhere, because
oh yeah, I'm sure.
The way I communicate this sort of stuff is through anecdotes, so if I'm doing it too much, do let me know. But my boyfriend took forever to get over the fact that I'm taller than him. And because I'm fairly androgynous to feminine presenting, and so he lives in Texas, and he took months and months to get over the fact that I was taller than him because he's 5'4" or something.
But see, that's if you're like 5'4" and you have a girlfriend that's like 5'8", you know what that means? That means boobs are more accessible. I don't understand what the problem is here.
I am 5'10", therefore he's boob height, and that's how he got over it.
Leave it. I gotta say, leave it to the lesbian to think about that.
Hell yeah, man.
Oh boy, just wait till
yeah.
I start estrogen and have actual boobs.
Hey, I'm only 5'6.5", and I dated a chick that was 6'3". She was tall as fuck. But you know what? Her boobs were right here every time I saw her. It was great. And they were big. They were beautiful. She was young. It was great.
I got some new boots recently that are completely off topic, so I won't necessarily talk about now, but I'm very excited about. Because I like platforms.
There's nothing wrong with getting excited about that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
It goes back to what Cadence was saying.
If
If makeup makes you feel good, then you should wear it. If a certain style of clothes makes you feel good, or that's what's comfortable on your body, then that's what you should wear. It doesn't matter whether
absolutely.
It's pink or fucking polka dotted. I don't care.
I'm a bad influence. I encourage my friends who are good Christian boys to wear makeup.
Gonna get him shot.
I also encourage them to like sit in when I'm doing a private ritual, which they always decline, but I always offer if they want.
Right.
Consent is everything in a relationship, I would say.
Yeah, no, it's important.
It's a big part of the relationship. I mean, it's not everything, but it should be up there. Very important. Yeah.
Right.
You know, you're talking about stuff being passed on to our kids. We've definitely noticed more with other kids seeming to carry on some of the same attitudes of their parents, especially the more extreme attitudes. Like our daughter has a friend whose parents are evangelical Christians, and the viewpoints of the kid match the viewpoints of the parents.
See, that's my point. Exactly.
And there is a psychology thing here where for the first, I want to say 7, but I'd have to go back and try and find the study to check that if we wanted to know for certain. But for the first how many years of your life, basically, the children want to imitate the people that are around the most, which is the parents, and they will therefore imitate beliefs as well. So but if they're imitating Christianity for the first how many years of their lives, and their parents don't actively encourage them to look at other systems, then they are going to view things as they grow up through that framework, and it kind of gets harder to dislodge the older you get. So people who grow up in evangelical households, especially given evangelical households tend to try and shelter their kids from other viewpoints.
Yes, actually, we've noticed that. That seems to happen, and it's almost as if they're preventing the kids from developing their own sense of nostalgia based on local cultures and keeping every activity possible within the church, so that when they're older, the nostalgia that they'll yearn for, which is a natural thing for most of us to enjoy nostalgia, that the nostalgia they'll yearn for is the old traditions of the church. This is how the church protects itself in a very subtle way, I think.
And this comes back to something that me and you, I think, have discussed a couple of times, Randolph, where I've never done Halloween once in my life.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. It's not for everybody. I enjoy it. Although I didn't do it last year. I canceled last year because we usually get 300 to 500 kids come to our door for candy. Because I decorate the whole yard and the whole house. I go way out. And yeah. So it's like some people call it, the amount of decorations I put up match the whole block of neighbors. I've got animatronics. I've got all kinds of lighting.
The closest I've ever come to doing Halloween is that we went to church for, I think they said spiritual protection on Halloween, and they gave us marshmallows.
But what happened was the reason we canceled was, and we put a couple of signs up, and people still knocked on our door, but not very many. Probably less than half a dozen, I would guess. We're only home when 2 of them knocked. We went out, but we didn't want to be contributing to the spread of COVID-19, which is why we put the candle. And we put that on the notice too. So we're hoping this year it'll be a lot better and we can actually do it.
So the whole spiritual protection thing really irks me the wrong way. And you mentioned earlier the Harry Potter thing, and this all reminds me of a thing that I was planning on doing as a cheeky advertisement for the Dungeons and Dragons thing I'm doing, where I would go on Modern Day Debate and debate anyone about the fact that Dungeons and Dragons is not satanic.
Oh,
When you start saying you need spiritual protection from these things that are clearly just fun, right? When like kids dressing up as superheroes to go trick-or-treating, or like, you know, a children's novel about a kid who flies on a broomstick, right? These are harmless things, and to treat them as some great evil, for one, it completely laughs in the face of all the actual evil that goes on in this world, right? But it also like damages the kids who have to grow up with this kind of bullshit.
Oh yeah, like my mum is better now because she has kind of just semi-dislodged herself from the community that she was in when I grew up, and my stepdad has been a positive influence because my stepdad plays D&D and Magic the Gathering, and therefore she had to chill out a bit.
well, those are fantastically imaginative games, and I don't see why they should be banished. It's just, and people talk about being satanic and all this. Like, they don't even realize that a lot of this kind of folklore about wizards and ogres and witches and ents and all these different characters and elves are popularized quite heavily by Tolkien, Lord of the Rings author.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Tolkien
Yep.
was Christian.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, now I was probably doomed from a young age because from like 5 years old I was obsessed with Greek mythology.
Okay. Hellenic polytheism and all of that stuff, I suppose.
Well, yeah, look where that got me.
So-
Now I literally worship Hermes.
Hi, Purple.
Hello,
Hello.
Cartoons with Orange.
Thanks for
I always like your
coming.
name.
Oh, wait a minute. We got one more coming in.
Oh,
Hey, Godless
Well-
Zoe.
hello there, Will.
What
Also-
up, Brokeback? How you doing?
He's not frozen. I saw him lift his eyebrow.
I can't hear anything.
Oh, that was funny
I can't
too.
hear anything.
Damn it! I gotta do it again. Hold on. Don't tell him. Wait a minute. Wait till he comes back. I'll
I'll
do
say
it
the same
again.
thing again.
Yeah, he
Ah,
won't know.
yeah.
Shh.
See, watch us end up with a very similar group to this when Will goes on Neil's show for the after party.
Yeah.
Will's great.
Yeah.
How are you,
the-
Purple?
Okay. My anxiety's up because I'm trying to get the new laptop ready for soft roll
Oh.
here.
Oh.
I absolutely hate Windows and anything ever produced by Microsoft.
Yep, you and I are in the same boat.
Well, it
Right.
always explain. They always try to give you instructions on how to do things, but they always start with step 5, assuming you know which menu you're going to find that option under.
And one of the
Oh
tricks
yes,
with-
but you should know automatically.
now, one of the tricks
Is it
with
not-
setting up Windows 10 is they want you to have an account that's hooked up to an online Microsoft account. But if you have no network internet access when you do the setup, it'll let you bypass that and set up a local account, and then you'll never have to set that up.
Yeah, you had mentioned that to me before. So yeah, I've got it set up with the cable unplugged.
Yeah, you've saved yourself a whole lot of hassle and time and spying. Yeah.
So,
How's it going?
Will, what I said? Did you hear what I said when you came in?
No, I had everything muted.
Oh, this shit was funny. Hold on, I'm gonna rewind for a sec. Hold on.
Okay.
Hey, what up, Brokeback? How you doing?
Hey.
Don't worry, he's not frozen. I saw him raise his
I can't
eyebrow.
quit you.
Yeah, that's why I said
can't
it.
quit-
His icon is always
I
the Brokeback
can't-
Mountain.
I can't quit you is my favorite line.
I can't quit you, Will. So glad you're here, baby.
How's it
How
going?
the hell are you?
I'm great. I heard people were talking about stereotypes, so the bat signal went up, and I
Yes.
answered the call.
Yeah, we were talking
Yeah.
about stereotypical careers, stereotypical toys as children, clothing, all that shit, and how parents' biases affect the children. And what is this? Oh my God, Randolph, stop.
Yeah, Godless Sewing's avatar reminded me of this meme.
Oh dear.
Donald Trump and Kanye West.
Oh my God, that's enough of that. That's heretical.
Oh,
Anyways,
Donald Trump was gross and not
what
even
was
the
See, now you
fun kind
fucked
of
me
gross.
all up on that one.
Trump
But
supporters
anyways,
love it. Trump supporters.
the parent thing. That's what I was saying.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the parents' biases that they come with handed down. They handed down, and my opinion is that's why we need a better education system, because a lot of kids don't get outside of the Bible at home.
Oh, very much so.
And one of the things we've done with our
Or
kids,
whatever, they're stuck in that little time warp of what mom and dad wants to show them, and they don't get
You
their
know what?
brain expanded.
so one of the things my wife and I have
Oh,
done with our kids is we've taught them critical thinking from the beginning, as young as possible, and we've taught them that if they disagree with something that we've decided, they can challenge us on it. It's fine. Just do it politely, of course, good rhetoric. But there's a
respectful.
few times where we've made decisions and they've disagreed and they provided a good argument and we've changed our decision. And so they feel. So we think this will help them to feel empowered and to feel free to exercise their critical thinking. And boy, do they do it when they're older. They get better and better and better at it.
Oh yeah. See, my attitude is I don't want kids, but were I to have kids, anytime I give them a response to like a question they've asked me, if it's like an opinion-based thing or like a beliefs-based thing, the immediate response will then be, now go ask your other parents, because whoever I end up having kids with will disagree with me on lots of things. That's just inevitable. And so it's like, go ask them.
I'm a bit of a free-range parent. I believe in, letting kids discover who they are. So, no, I was raised really strict.
Go out into the streets. Don't hit me with my cart.
No, my parents were really over strict. I had to go to church. I had a really regimented upbringing, and all it did was make me resentful. So instead of forcing things upon my kid, I give him the choice. There's certain things, I'll say, no, we're doing this regardless, but I'm not, I don't know. I feel like I don't own my child. I'm a facilitator. I'm here to teach him how to go out in the world and be a productive person.
As a parent of 7 clones that have been sent back from the future to my time, raising 7 clones of yourself is quite difficult, especially when they start breathing acid. That's when you have to start using the polyethylene gloves.
See,
otherwise, it's going to eat right through that.
I think if there were a clone of me, I would probably feel the impulse to kill it.
Thank you. I was going to say the same thing. I couldn't have a clone.
I want to clone myself. I want to clone myself, but then genetically improve all of the things I hate about myself to make the perfect super weapon, and I'm just going to unleash it onto the world like a virus, like Frankenstein's monster, and I'll just hide away in like Antarctica.
So that pot's kicking in, huh? I want to know whatever you're smoking, I want some, because in California we don't have that kind of stuff.
No, it's literally just called being high on creative.
I'm kidding.
We'll talk about that at the end of the stream in the background.
Yeah. Well, it's legal. Sorry, it's legal here in California.
Will, you just have to be high on insanity. Like, you have to be high on insanity. That's how you get to my level.
Okay. I'm halfway. I'm halfway there.
What is it that the Joker says in the Killing Joke comic book? Like, it's like everyone's just one bad day away from becoming me. Yeah, I feel like that sometimes.
See,
so, as somebody who doesn't back down from people, that's true. Like in a physical
really
sense.
Will. I never noticed that about you.
See, I feel like I could fuck with people's heads quite happily, and I could even stretch to being a killer, but I could never be a serial killer. So I don't think I would quite go as far as the Joker.
I don't see myself. I don't sit around fantasizing about hurting people like that. So I couldn't see myself, like, even in a war setting, unless someone was firing directly at me, you know?
Oh yeah, no, were I to kill it would have to be in self-defense, but I can see myself doing it and being super traumatized by it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Here's my justification on why I would ever turn into the Joker. The bigoted far right of the United States every day pushes me closer and closer to being a total human extinctionist. Yeah, right now I'm just a voluntary human extinctionist. I think I can convince everyone, hey, let's breed a little less. But,
you need to move to Canada. It's much more peaceful here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is
Well,
fair.
that's, I'm not out to kill people, but the idea of sterilizing the entire species does have some appeal.
I was going to say antinatalism does have its merits.
I think you should end the stigma of sexuality in general, and all the closet cases would stop hurting people.
Oh,
Because a lot of
God,
aggression
right?
comes from people.
See, that's the
People who
problem.
are
Everybody,
hiding.
and look, it all came from fucking Christianity. That's where all this shit came from. Because they automatically
It's
said,
hydrogen.
the Bible says men are in charge. And by the way, according to my brother, that's not what it says. It says when women are pregnant, they should lean on a man. Well, doesn't that make sense?
So
you can't do it all by yourself. You're trying to create a human.
The other thing
The more I hear about this stuff, the more I'm tempted to make
Hold on, Randolph. Hold on. You talked right over Sam. Go, Sam. Say it.
Oh, sorry.
The other thing is that was the original inscription. Then later Judaism changed it, and that's what Christianity is based off. So in the original version of Christianity, so to speak, it does say that, but only insofar as Hellenized Judaism during the Roman Empire said that women could and often did have high social status, but they couldn't hold any roles of official authority. So you can read, if you read into letters of I think Peter or something, I disremember, I can't be asked with the Bible, but basically there is implications that in the early churches women were seen as equal spiritually, just unable to hold office effectively.
Right, and thank you for proving my point. That's exactly what I'm saying. Everybody took this freedom of religion and brought this Christianity shit over here. And so they were like, oh, this is going to be a nation founded on Christianity. So now here we are with people thinking that slaves are okay and it's okay to kill babies and women are lesser and all this shit. All because of some fucking religion that they created so they could control people, and those people could have a crutch and think, there's something after this, I shouldn't kill myself. I should keep working and making them money. And now here we are.
Here's the thing.
In the modern era,
I don't think it's
a shocker. Sorry, Jenny. I'm gonna say something emotional, anecdotal, and then you could come in and say the smart way. It still shocks me. It still shocks me how Christianity has been allowed to creep into our society. If anyone remembers, it was not like this 30 years ago. People minded their own business. They weren't trying, well, at least where in certain states,
for the most part,
they weren't trying, people would, people still try to pay over me, but I'd tell them I'm an atheist, they go away. My whole point is we have allowed these people to become our legislators, to creep into places of power. And that's the problem. It's not the religion, it's these fundies who want to kill us.
I have a video privated on my channel, Will, that details how we got to this point. It doesn't really talk about how religion is so prevalent in a lot of our legislation and in our schools and education, but it does detail how we got to the point of the what I call the modern atheist witch hunt in the video, where it starts with a satanic panic, and it basically details Christianity is used to make all of these things seem evil and wicked as a form of control over the populace, and especially with what they did with Marilyn Manson, right? Is
totally.
It's to silence things that criticize them, right? Because pinning column, I'm not going to say the full thing because
Totally understandable.
YouTube bots. So we're going to call it
Thanks, Theo.
D&E after the people who did it. So when D&E happened, they blamed Marilyn Manson for that, right? But like they only blamed Marilyn Manson predominantly because there had already been a campaign out to get him, calling him an evil, demonic person who's inspiring violence in children, right? So the church,
Me and my peeps were like, yeah. Go ahead.
the church for decades has been building up this, like, for example, the Million Moms Foundation, which is really just a handful of over religious moms, right? Or like
With a ton of money.
Wait a minute, a Million Moms organization? That spells ammo. Oh, you said foundation. Never mind. Go ahead.
I think it's like the foundation, but it might be. I don't really know.
They should have named it a Million Moms organization.
Right.
That would have been great.
It might be an
The NRA would have
organization.
been all over that shit.
I want that t-shirt.
It's
I'd
just
support
called
that.
1 Million Mums. It's I think it's under the American Family Association.
Yikes.
Okay, well, so but like, and I also talk about, like, for example, what was the okay, there was this famous rap album in the 90s where the entire rap group was thrown in jail on indecency charges over it, which I found
Okay,
ridiculous.
Well, are you talking about NWA? Or are you talking about Two Life Crew?
Two Life Crew.
Yeah, that was still part of the whole satanic panic
To
thing.
be fair, they were playing rap.
That happened just after the satanic panic.
See,
I know that
really
there were a
weird.
couple
I
of rock
was-
stars who were taken to court about their lyrics.
Well, yeah, there was stained
I was-
class.
We all forget that in 1989 they tried to shut down rap with Ice-T and Cop Killer. They tried to shut down the entire industry. I might have the year wrong, but I remember that whole time.
I find it really funny that, like,
Before
I
that, it
not
was Tipper
alive-
Gore with the heavy metal.
Yep. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I was not alive during the Satanic Panic, but a lot of the shit I heard in church growing up was just recycled Satanic Panic shit.
Well, but my point
Red
for
Red
bringing
Word.
all this up, in the first place, is like it's the same tactic they use when they start like stereotypes about people, and like they don't usually just start in the churches, right? Usually, it's like right-wing media groups that the churches seem to fawn over, where they'll start these stereotypes or they'll promote these old, like, long-standing stereotypes, right? And it's the same thing as when they do the satanic panic shit, right?
Well-
It's just control.
I think that stereotypes always start with an actual person. But for people who, aren't familiar with the subject, like people who weren't familiar with gays, of course, the first one they noticed are the most flamboyant and out there ones on the extreme. The ones that pretty much behave like everyone else, they don't realize are gay until they really get into it and start talking to people.
Yeah, when someone goes full Liberace.
Yeah,
Oh,
I miss
the
Liberace.
The first queer anyone notices in a room is someone like me who's very visibly queer.
If you guys ever get a
Oh,
chance,
hilarious.
watch Saturday Night Live. Vincent Price Halloween special where it had Liberace on there. Oh my God, you're gonna laugh till you piss yourself. That was some good stuff.
Randolph
watch
is
a lot
giving
of
us
stuff.
fireworks.
But seriously,
I start
had
calling him Sparky.
a friend of mine call me today and talking about, well, look at all that stuff that's being pushed on us. All the cartoons and everything. Everything's turning into, they're pushing the gay agenda and everything. I'm like, there's no agenda. They're trying to undemonize shit, and if you think it's icky and stuff, maybe you'll get used to it after a couple of years and quit thinking that you hate everybody and everything because they might be different than you. Nobody's pushing anything off on you. If you don't like watching those kids cartoons at 50 years old, then fucking quit.
Yeah, that's what I
It's
said.
about society
I love
changing
the
and
saying.
people
Beat,
people
if you're
getting
during the light show,
equal
feel
rights.
free to full
Not
this. I got one last bit to cut here.
All right, buddy.
Yeah. My usual response to
Hold on,
anyone
Randy
mentioning
got cut off.
the
Randy
gay
got-
agenda, my immediate response to anyone mentioning the gay agenda is, "Oh, did you get your copy too? Is it the 14th brunch?"
Right.
Um,
Because we don't want
Randy
to lose
got
the
cut off.
card or the juicer.
there's a manifesto.
We don't want to get kicked out of the club.
Yeah.
And we're going to take over the world and make everybody gay. That's our goal. Yep.
What does
Yeah.
that even
Well, the
mean?
only real gay agenda is for people to be able to, be out in public and not be harassed.
That would be nice.
Yes.
Speaking of which, like, some people believe that everyone's fine with homosexuality now, so why are you still trying to normalize it? And like, I just recently saw a video on Twitter of like two girls who were apparently cousins like having a milkshake out in public in like a fast food joint. And like, this lady walked up to them and was like grilling them on like if they're gay or not, and that they'll go to hell if they weren't even gay. They were cousins. But like, that shit happens, right? And that's one of those harmful stereotypes that if two people of the same gender are just having a fucking McShake, right, that means they're doing something, right? Why can't we just be friends?
I know, right?
I wish a mother effer would try. I wish somebody would try that with me.
Well, here's the thing.
See, but
Genesis, that's why right there, because it's not normalized yet. There's still tons of bigotry
exactly.
in 3/4 or more of the population. That's why.
That's just like saying nobody's racist anymore. Bullshit.
I mean, the thing is, my auntie Ree, she has a son who is in his 30s. And I think a couple of years back, she cried because one of his friends suggested to her he might be gay.
Well, they say there's no racism because Obama was elected. So I guess that we need a lesbian president, and then we'll be rid of all the female and, gay stereotypes.
I've recently experienced racism here in the community, and it kind of made me laugh. It brought me back to like elementary school. People, whenever they can hide, whenever they have anonymity, whenever they feel that they have strength, they will tell you how they really feel. And there's really nothing, I don't know, I'm kind of cynical. Like I would prefer somebody tells me to my face they don't like me,
Yes.
Yeah.
And I won't even be mad. I just want to know where I stand. Go ahead, Purple.
Exactly.
I had a couple of incidents when I was in my 20s because, I didn't think that I was racist or that, but you don't realize some of the stuff that your parents ingrained into you growing up until you run into it.
I said this on the last stream we talked about, Will. Last Monday, I said that same thing. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, apparently I had some of my father's attitudes that I wasn't even aware of.
I thought my father...
Oh, Will, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just going to say really quick. My dad looked down upon. How can I say this nicely? Lower echelon people of color, because my dad was a black man who quote unquote made it, and like it took a long time for me to shake a lot of the crap that he taught me, and it wasn't even anything he ever said. It was just certain unspoken things because he loves to floss and show off.
My dad had
look what I had.
Form of racism.
Yeah. See, I picked up a lot of things kind of without noticing, and they didn't often explicitly come up. But like when I made a couple of friends in college who it turns out were trans, I asked some dumb questions that were probably very offensive. Like I read up a thing about fertility issues in trans people, and my immediate response was, But why does that matter? Why would trans people want kids?
You know, it's funny,
Yeah,
and here
it doesn't matter.
It's normal. Like here, I keep
Oh
on saying
no!
that, but it's
So
because
my question that I
we have
had was me being a dumbass was I asked why it would bother trans people that they have fertility issues.
oh,
Okay. Okay.
I didn't
Well,
catch the
Here's
last
the
word
thing.
there. Why they
It's
have
a
what?
syndrome with any kind of bigotry or racism or anything like that. It's called social inheritance. The things that you pick up from your past generations. It's a real thing, and it's really these days it's incrementally trying to be worked on through psychology and
Sorry,
everything, but it's
What did
not
you say it's called?
when
I
you
didn't
go
quite hear it. It
to
broke up a bit.
social inheritance.
Inheritance.
And
Yeah,
it's the
social inheritance
ideas
is a
that
big
gets
thing.
passed on from generation to generation.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
yeah.
Yeah. So
So
cultural inheritance is a big part of or that sort of thing. Sorry, is kind of where a lot of the concepts around culture come from, because culture is a social construct that's kind of a result of other social constructs.
Yeah.
And that is a big part of it, that kind of people, and because we've got like an en masse education system, it's easier for this to happen because teachers can also pass their prejudices onto the students they teach. Is that there's kind of this general en masse concept that gets passed on to kids generally, and that's how culture is. And so changing that takes a lot of time and effort, and that's where culture comes from. But also it comes into more benign bits of culture, like the most common types of food are going to be the foods the kids try, so they're the ones they're familiar with, so they're the ones they like.
Oh, of course.
Yeah. Well,
Of
that's
course. If
social
somebody asks you what
inheritance.
your favorite dish is, most of the time it's something that was made when you were a child.
Yeah.
Do you know how shocked I was
Yeah.
when I went overseas
Ratatouille.
and they didn't have Mexican food everywhere? Like being from LA, like I was shocked there wasn't Mexican food everywhere.
It's like where
you
I
know?
live. There's a restaurant in every corner. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I think not having an Indian and Chinese within a stone's throw distance of me at all times is possibly one of the things that will freak me out more than the flatness if I visit Texas.
Look, I live deep in Cajun country, and there are 4 Mexican restaurants within 5 minutes of me.
Damn right. Damn right.
I want to go back on the conversation about inherited biases, and like the biases we might have inherited. I like to think of my parents as not racist,
Excuse
but they
me.
do
Put your
hold
sunglasses
some.
on.
Go ahead,
What?
Jen.
Oh.
Randy's just being silly. Go ahead.
So, like my parents do hold some like racist opinions that they've gotten from I assume my grandmother. And I think the worst racism I've ever personally experienced was I was at my workplace. My dad was showing one of his coworkers around, and he said to my face, knowing I'm half Japanese, go make some sushi or something.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
That's the
so
kind of-
embarrassed.
My dad used to say fucked up shit. I mean,
it was a
He
joke.
never had the balls.
Well, my dad had a kind of weird form of racism because he had no problem with the blacks, but he would say things like, you know, there's nothing wrong with those Mexicans, they just don't work as hard. Which for him, it's like everything was about people's work ethic. So saying they didn't work hard was like the biggest insult he could make to anyone.
You know, that's like what George Carlin said. Are they fucking lazy Mexicans or are they stealing your jobs? Pick one.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So true.
And like
I was saying that to people who were worried about the immigrant caravan coming up, and it's like, you know how many conversations stopped right there?
Yeah, pick one, right.
Living in a place where there's a lot of Hispanic people in general, in LA, we have what's called the underground economy. They work harder than the average American. I will put that up against. And I know we all work hard, you know, but in mass, it's cultural.
Yeah.
You know, people from certain areas work really, really hard. And you know what? My gardener has a better truck than I do. Oh wait, I tell him all the time. I'm like, that is so fancy.
That's see, my school was low key racist, but it was fairly low key. Like there were a disproportionate number of white people at that school to say that there's a decent number of black people around, especially younger people, and about a third of people around are Asian. And I think there were maybe a grand total of like 50 people of color in the whole school out of like 600.
I had portions like that in high school. When I was in when I was in elementary school, the only people of color I knew were my brother and sister. And then when I got in junior high, I met 2 more people who I'm still friends with to this very day. And then it wasn't until high school did I get around more than 15 black people. And that's just black people, not like Mexican, or there's a lot of Filipino people where I live, and Cambodian people also.
I have 2 things to say to that, Will. The first thing I'll say is that we had 1 black kid in our high school. And I went to 2 different high schools. Each high school had 1 black kid. One of them was half black, half Italian. So he got the Italian pass. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying.
So in the Roman Catholic school, nobody said anything. Nobody discussed that this kid was half black. He was obviously half black. Good looking kid. He had like that perfect, like your skin, like that perfect caramel skin, because he was just mixed just right. You know what I mean? Ooh. He had beautiful, beautiful skin. And then in the second school was the one kid that only lasted 2 weeks because he constantly got bullied. And I'm telling you, that school didn't have like any culture in it. It was a bunch of white rednecks. It was a bunch of us white rednecks, and then 1 black kid who I spent those 2 weeks following around and knocking the bullies away from him because I felt horrible for him.
One thing
they lived there for 2 weeks and they moved. They yanked him out of school and moved.
One thing our kids do, if people ask them, "Oh, you're half Chinese and half Caucasian," they're like, "No, I'm 100% Chinese and 100% Caucasian," and genetically they're correct.
Yes, yes.
Do you know when anyone would ever? When I was younger, I would get this question a lot. They're like, "So, what do I call you?" And I would always say, "You can call me William." You know, but they were always talking about my race because I'm half Mexican. I'm half Mexican and half black. But my mom, Sam, is darker than my mother. Like my mom is pale. She is a Spaniard. Like she's white for all intent and purposes. But both of her parents were born in Mexico. You know. So all the time people would be confused because they see me walking around with my white mother and my extremely dark father, you know. So all the time people would always ask me, they're like, "What do I call you?" And I'd just say, "Call me Will," you know.
That's great. You sound like me. B,
yeah.
what's that stand?
Since I was a little kid.
B?
Since I was a little kid, you know, like
and if it makes them feel stupid, maybe they'll grow up a little bit.
Oh,
exactly.
You can cross your fingers on that one.
And honestly, I've been getting that more lately because people are starting to talk about race again. They're starting to pay attention more to like, oh, this person, you know, they get the color palette thing out and say, oh, is this person okay? You know, it's sad.
Will, what shouldn't we call you?
Late for dinner. That motherfucker makes that shit.
I know. I was about to say. I came after I made dinner tonight. I'll email you the list, Randolph.
Yeah, when I was quite young, I learned there were ways that I could use people's stereotypes against them. Because there were like 3 black kids in our school, and I was friends with one of them. So, you know, when I was like 13, you know, we'd go to the store together. I'd be stuffing stuff in my pockets, and we'd walk out the door together, so the alarm would go off. I'd just walk out slowly. He'd take off across the parking lot, and if they caught him, he had nothing. I had all the goods on me. But, of course, we knew they're going to chase the black kid.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my God. You know, 2 things. One, I lived in an area that was predominantly black in Virginia, and so... we were right on the edge of blue collar and ghetto. Like I lived literally on the line of
On
the
the track.
ghetto area. And so there was being that ghetto was 85% black, most of the crimes in the area were done by black people who were on drugs. That's just how it was. And at the time, everybody was wearing those yellow Ugg boots or whatever they are, or Timberlands or Timberlands.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And the baggy jeans and the boxer shorts sticking out and the white t-shirt. That's what everybody wore. So the joke was is if somebody stole something. Hold on, if somebody stole something, they'd say the cops would go, what he look like? Oh, he's a black guy. He's wearing a white t-shirt, a pair of jeans, and a pair of yellow Timberlands. And they'd go, oh fuck. What are you even gonna do with that? They all were wearing the same thing back then. There was no description for you.
The only reason I asked is sorry. You literally described 1991. You literally described what everybody wore in the early 90s.
Yeah. No, in Virginia, that was 2000. It started in like 95 and ended in like 2003, 2005. But it lasted for like 10 years. That was the thing to wear.
See, there was this is a bit of a case where like a stereotype is accurate. I am as someone with autism, I am this stereotype is, at least for me, true, very observant of things, if not like social cues and stuff, but like things physically around me.
Right.
So like I'd go in a shop and get stuff, and I'd walk out, and I wasn't particularly paying attention for this, but one of my mates would go, hey, where were the security cameras pointing? And I could just tell them. And so then they'd know where the cameras were not looking. So we used to do that. But only at bigger shops, because smaller shops struggle. So we wouldn't do that to them.
Right.
For about 20 years, I went by the moniker of polybisect. Because when people asked me about that, I had the tagline explaining, I'm just your stereotypical polyamorous, bisexual, solitary, eclectic pagan. Because, of course, everyone knew exactly everything about me.
I'll have to write that. I'm going to write that down.
Yeah, I always thought that I was just plain sexy, because every time I left a room, people would just yell, what an ass.
I like the positive attitude. Yes, I do have a great ass. Thank you.
See, I kind of have. See, I'm very indecisive, and so I sort of lean into the stereotype of bisexuals not being able to make decisions, and so I can just turn around and go, no, I'm a polyamorous, grey asexual, grey aromantic, pansexual or bisexual, depending how you look at it, neurodivergent person. You can't expect me to make a decision.
So as a staunch bi guy, can I ask you a question? And this is because I'm old. I'm going to ask you a serious question. What does pan mean? And I'm being 100% serious. I'm not even joking.
The big distinction, as it's generally drawn, at least where I am, is that bisexuality, you might not be attracted to all genders, but most people are, and it's more. But it's more. The difference is pansexuality is gender doesn't matter. Yeah. So attraction to all genders feels the same, but with bisexuality, attraction to different genders can feel different. Or you might be like, I have a friend who is bi, who is more attracted to masculinity, but is very attracted to masculinity in women as well.
There you go.
But apparently it feels different.
For me, pansexual's pretty much the same. That it's acknowledging that there's more than two genders, and just that if I'm attracted to somebody, the gender is kind of a secondary characteristic. It probably matters somewhere on the same level as their hair color.
Yeah. So, see, I'm pansexual too, but I'm like that. It doesn't matter what's in your pants or what's tucked into a bra or not tucked into a bra. I'm attracted to femininity. Doesn't matter if it's biological, male, female, or anything like that. I just like the feminine shape and the style.
Fair.
Me too.
I like
Yeah,
what
I've
can
seen
differ-
I've seen some trans
Oh, yeah.
M to Fs that I've gone, damn, you look good. I would consider that shit. But see, they'd have to be fully transitioned because the whole balls thing just grosses me out really bad. But I mean, otherwise, no, I find
There
find
goes
all
my
different
next joke.
sorts of people attractive. It doesn't
Not
matter
even
to me
a
what
little-
they
actually
look
have
like.
a few.
Not even with a little pink ribbon on it.
I have a few
Nope.
M to F. I have a few M to F friends who their solution, because they're lesbians, is just it's fine. I'm just going to use my mouth all the time.
Yeah, pal.
So,
Go on.
no, you guys are selling it. Keep selling it.
Will, did you read
I'm
my
listening.
proper definition of pansexual that I put in the chat?
No.
Oh yeah.
So, not limited in sexual
Oh, yeah,
choice with
sexual.
regards to biological sex, gender, or gender identity.
Just doesn't matter,
Yeah,
really.
it's
That's it.
so
Doesn't matter.
bisexuality. It can matter.
That's what I've been this
but
entire
you
time.
can be
though.
attracted to. So the
Does that mean I
distinction
get
is
another
literally just
team
whether
to
or
be
not
on?
attraction feels different, really, for me.
You can put another letter in
my
your name,
rule-
Will.
My rule is don't ruin my life.
Fair.
That's
See,
when I meet a
I-
partner. My rule is please don't
I
ruin my
have a
life.
serious question.
Okay, sure,
I have a
Randy.
serious
What's the
question. Forever, it's been known, that someone like me was a straight male. Okay, when did we change to cis? And what the hell is the difference? I don't understand
Okay,
what the term
so
cis means.
The
If-
reason
So,
for that is
this-
because people wanted a distinction between someone who identifies as the gender that they were born with and someone who transitions into a gender. So cisgender is just the fact that you are born as the same gender that you identify with.
yeah,
It's
cis literally
just
just means not trans. So you are still a straight man. You are just now a cis straight man.
I see. It's just
Yeah,
another
cis-
term for what I already am.
So I'm a straight man.
No, I don't have
I'm
to show
totally
anybody my
straight,
balls.
and I've always been this way. So it's that means I'm a cis male. Is that right?
yes.
Yeah, cis basically just means that you were happy with the body you got at birth.
Yeah, cis
Yeah.
is just not trans.
Okay.
You could be cis, and you could still be pansexual or whatever. That has nothing to do with it. That's just
Yeah,
saying
yeah.
yes.
You know,
I'm
separate
a
categories.
guy. Like you would be. I'm a guy. I was born as a guy. I'm good.
Oh yeah, separate
I wish
categories.
I was sitting at my
Agnostic and atheism.
I
Okay.
should be taking notes right now.
Okay.
I feel
So-
like
I
Oh,
wish
and
I
then
was sitting
you
at my
can go
desk.
back later and read it, Will.
I feel like
Alright.
I
I
need
have
to
a
make
friend
Well,
named Dawn.
So these are.
I actually had
A long
to
time ago.
download a glossary of terms
I was
for
running around.
transgender
I was-
people.
I guess
All right.
I'll just imagine that these are like categories that are in parallel. They don't need to cross over each other in a way. It's kind of like
Yeah, pretty
agnostic
much.
atheism or things like that. Or
Yeah, pretty
animal-
much.
So
My-
am I cis bi?
So
I'm old. I'm sorry.
yeah.
I'm being serious.
No,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah,
that's
okay.
correct.
You are not trans and therefore cis, and you are bi. Therefore, you are a cis bi man.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Now,
don't
if
say
you
my
don't-
sis if you have any sisters that you don't want to miss.
Now, if you don't care what someone is at all, then you could consider that pan instead of bi.
I have several friends who literally just look at the bi flag and the pan flag and go, both of these labels apply. Which flag do I prefer?
Right.
And see, my sexuality
I'm gonna buy
actually
'em all.
complicates things because
I'm so, wait,
I am-
say it
Never
again.
again.
my sexuality actually complicates things because there's pansexual, but I am sapiopansexual,
Mhm.
which
Okay.
means
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
attracted to intelligence, no
Yeah.
matter what gender you're born in or anything like that. So
Oh,
somebody
okay.
could be attracted to me, but as soon as they open their mouth and say something dumb, No attraction whatsoever.
Gone
for me-
right out the window.
Gone.
now-
Me,
Exactly.
I would say
Yep,
I lean,
I am
I
right
lean
there.
towards sapiosexuality, but I'm not entirely 100% there.
See, my whole thing is I want someone who's dumber than me so I can, mold them into the perfect weapon to start my world domination.
You need stupid people to do that. Oh wait, there's religion.
I
Okay,
tried
got it.
that. I tried that.
That's
She got
there
half
is-
my stuff.
You can always do the Al
I
Bundy
tried
family
that. She
credo.
got half,
Before you
and
can-
she still
Randall.
drives my car.
Oh,
Randolph.
now see, here's a fun one for you that catches a lot of people out. Is a lot of people will, and this is something that's pretty much always implicit anyway, so it doesn't really ever bear saying. But if someone's being an arse about LGBT stuff, I will ask a person if they are teleophilic.
Okay, you want to explain that term
They,
for those of us who have no idea what that
they will
means?
usually immediately say no, but what teleophilic means is attracted to adults.
Attracted to adults?
It's a
Yes.
great trick question.
Well, that's a yes. Okay, so I've been that my whole life since I was like 12. Right. Okay.
Writing that one down.
All right.
Yeah, and it's fun because I
Yeah.
only ever bring it out when someone's being a dick about it, and it's like they never know what the word means, but it sounds like a LGBT thing, so they immediately say no.
It's very
My favorite
clever.
example.
So you're like you fucking pedophile.
I thought it was a Verizon wireless thing myself.
My favorite.
Let me
my favorite-
hold on,
Oh,
Jen.
sorry.
I'm going to comment on this real quick. Screw all the labels, at least for me. Thanks. You know, honestly, Sandy, that's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
I don't want to be called a lesbian, or I don't want to be called. Sometimes I'm attracted to some trans people, depending on what they look like, and
Nope.
I'm attracted to some non-binary people, depends on what they look like. You know, I don't want to get into all that, and that's why when people ask me, I say this: I'm B. I just
That's
be.
fair.
I just be myself. I don't
See,
really like
the-
labels. That's why I don't go above and beyond to
Exactly.
wear like rainbow stuff and everything. I think that actually helps us separate,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
to
I
not to
agree.
join. So I
I
just
used to
remain.
always say labels are for boxes.
Yes,
Yeah,
I mean,
yes.
this
And-
system. I think the thing is that the system we have for labeling ourselves at the moment in terms of sexuality is shitty in the first place. Like, it wouldn't be good still, but it would be better if we had a word for attracted to masculinity and a word for attracted to femininity and a word for attracted to being someone who's androgynous.
Right.
Yeah, but I like all that.
There are
It's not
tropes
really-
for that. I can't think of them offhand now.
Yeah, but that's more of a preference, right? Like,
Well, yeah, but then the thing is that would remove the need to differentiate between the attraction of a lesbian to women and the attraction of a straight man to women.
Yeah, but
What was the
I
thing called again,
hung out with-
Cadence? Where you're
What's that?
attracted to smarts?
Oh, sapiosexual.
What was the term again for attracted? Sapiosexual?
Sapio,
see, and
S-A-P-I-O.
that right
sexual.
there is something. I am attracted to intelligence, and I have a major crush on scientist Mel. She'll never know it unless one of you tell.
Until today.
She's
Until
just an
tomorrow morning, I
awesome
will get her
person.
on Twitter now.
Yeah.
Just because
Yeah.
I'm saying in a public
Yeah, she
forum in the
She
community
knows
that
I'll
she
joke around
follows.
with her.
hey,
Yeah,
it's
I was
fun.
gonna
I
say,
joke
we
around
all
with her
have
all the
Twitter,
time
that's
about it, but we have an
dangerous.
agreement I will not stalk her.
Yeah.
But, you
Hey,
know,
it's fine. I
yeah,
fully
but
admitted
if she
to.
says, "Hey, you want to get together for a cup of coffee?" I will smooch her until her lips get sucked off of her damn face.
Didn't weren't you on
She's
stream?
attractive.
I think Sam raised an
Weren't
interesting
you on
point.
stream the other night? Go ahead.
harmonica?
I what?
I think Sam raised an interesting point about how the traditional terms for, or I guess classical terms for sexuality and sexual attraction are quite limited. When I was in high school, I remember some of the boys they found women attractive, especially the female stars, music stars and whatnot. But then as soon as they found out one of them was bisexual, I forgot who it was, but they suddenly find her unattractive. That didn't bother me at all. But I guess maybe is there terminology to differentiate this kind of attraction as well? On that says you want a mate. You're attracted to somebody who has certain orientations as well.
Not that I am aware of, though.
Okay.
Typically within queer theory, that sort of thing is probably going to be attributed to internalized homophobia, such that they are subconsciously then not attracted to the person because they associate it with a negative thing.
Yeah, they're not attracted to all types of homophobia, probably not, rather than just one. Like with the Holy Bible, it says it seems to be against male homosexuality, but doesn't seem to mention female homosexuality anywhere.
And even then, it's dodgy as to
That's
if
fun
that
for shit to
actually
watch.
applies.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you, Sam. What was that?
And even then, if you read the Hebrew, it's dodgy at best, the idea that homosexuality was condemned in the first place.
Yeah.
One thing I have to say about labels, though, is that, they can be fluid. They can change for people from day to day, and I'm not always looking for the same type of relationship. That there are some people I'll get together with, that we understand this is strictly a physical thing. We're going to have some fun together. You're going to go home. Maybe we'll hook up once in a while, which is completely different with what I would be looking for somebody that I'm actually looking for a long-term relationship. Somebody that I think I might actually wind up living with.
That makes sense.
I actually
I
actually had a friend like that, and she, we hung out for 2 years, and it just got weird after a while. Because it was almost like a relationship.
There's probably a word for this. I've probably not looked hard enough, but my attraction to every individual person I've ever been attracted to, which is a low number, has felt different, but also I've noticed common themes in all the people I've been attracted to, such that when someone asks me what my type is, I just respond cryptid.
So, I had a train of thought that just got blown up.
There are certain
I'm
traits,
distracted.
though,
I'm looking at Randolph's
I'm
tools
sorry,
and
I threw
wondering.
y'all off.
There
What's that
are
about?
certain traits that I'm attracted to that I do avoid, though.
I was just looking at Randolph's tools and wondering why cordless technology hasn't gotten to Canada.
Oh, I remember.
See, I was about to say, how come you were looking at Randolph's tool?
Because
I remember my train of
it is. I just don't like cordless battery-powered tools as much as I like the ones
Yeah.
that plug in, because the power is, I find, just battery's really caught up. It's done very well, but it just doesn't keep the charge long enough for my liking.
I
And
agree.
I don't like the hassle of always charging batteries.
Yeah, I get you. I didn't want to go off on a tangent there, just making a joke
Each
of it.
device has different batteries.
I remember my
You have all
train
these
of thought.
colors. Mess.
What's up, Jen?
Go ahead, Jen.
So, Purple, you were talking about how you have some people who it's just a physical thing with, right? I
Yep.
kind of do that. I categorize people who are romantically interested in me or sexually interested in me into who can I make my BDSM slaves, who can I make my soldiers in the new army, and who can I brainwash into believing my authoritarian regime of human extinction.
Yeah, well, for me, sex is just one of my hobbies. And as long as the other person or people are aware of this going into it, as long as everyone has the same expectations, there shouldn't be a problem.
Fair. I mean,
I was like that. I was like that for a while, and I'm gonna tell a really quick cautionary
Genesis.
tale. I was like that for a while. I was extremely promiscuous. After my divorce, I felt like I was reliving my 20s, and then I got a stalker, like a real one in real life. So just be careful, kids. Is all I'm saying. Just be careful.
See,
Because
I'm in a weird
I had
place
sex with the wrong
with.
person.
I'm in a weird place with promiscuity, where previously I have kissed more people in one night than I've ever actually been physically attracted to.
Yeah, well, they start passing those things
That's a
around
nice
about,
story.
what things on this list have you or haven't you done?
The purity
There's
test
always,
things.
there's always
or-
one thing on there about how many partners have you had, and I usually have to add in one night.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what?
I think
I'm
the-
kind of
my
attracted to
highest
younger women
score
around
is-
40, 45, can have kids, but not in the house, you know, shit like that.
Yeah. See,
So
if you want to keep track, I did end up making out with like 12 people in a night at one point. That was a thing.
Whoa.
So I
Are
just
you
put into
also a
the chat.
harmonica player, Sam?
Yes.
No.
Wink, wink. Now we're calling it a harmonica.
Is that what we call it now?
So I used this the other day because someone was, if there was some Christian on a stream talking about how it's you'll go to hell if you're trans. Trans people are
Oh,
gonna go
I
to
love
hell.
the Gospel of Thomas. This is great.
So this says Simon Peter said to them, "Let Mary go away from us, for women are not worthy of life. Look, I will draw her in so as to make her male, so that she too may sorry, let me switch that. Become a living male spirit similar to you. Every woman who makes herself male will enter the kingdom of heaven."
Yeah, the immediate
I mean,
response
it's
to that
written
is,
right there.
What the frickety crap?
the immediate
I missed
response to
that
that
passage.
should be that
I can see
the
why they
Gospel of
took that
Thomas
out.
is apocrypha and therefore not canon.
Yeah, I don't care. I don't believe any of their shit. I can believe this if I want.
Oh yeah, sure.
Here-
No, I completely
Can you
agree.
imagine the
believe that
phone
they should
call after
abide
getting
by
into
it.
heaven?
There's a
This is
reason
the
that
benefit
I'm
of
quite
sitting
happy
next to
throw
your
the
Could
Gospel
you
of
imagine that?
Jesus.
I have
There you
the
go,
lost
guys.
book to the
Hey,
Bible.
Mom, I made it into heaven. Your daughter made it into
Hey,
heaven.
Will,
Well,
have
how'd
you
you do
read-
that, sweetheart? Well, I put a sausage in my pants.
Yes, right.
You
Will,
put
have
it
you
in the
ever read
front
the,
this time, right?
The
Yeah, I did.
actual Book of Enoch? Not the paragraph, but the
Yeah.
Book of Enoch.
Yeah,
no.
I do because I have a Jerusalem Bible and it has it in there. It has the entire Book of Enoch
Oh,
in there.
Yeah, it's not
And it's
cut
The
out
Book
yet.
of Enoch is objectively one of the best books in the Bible
And
or in any
So
book.
Also the
if
most
you-
telling, according to my brother.
if you're
I don't know.
into conspiracy theory, this is the newer version of lost books
Excuse
of the
me.
Bible. In the 70s version, they had Enoch in that version. In this version, they don't. And I ordered the older version on Amazon, and I got this instead.
Does it have a book
Because I
where it
had-
talks? Does it have a book where it talks about Lilith?
It's been so long. It's been so long. I was actually.
was
It's got,
Lilith
let's see.
apocrypha or was Lilith later rabbinic alteration?
No, Lilith was in the Torah.
Wasn't Lilith Yahweh's wife?
No, Lilith was the first
Adam's
woman.
first wife.
The first woman, and she was too independent, so she was turned into a demon, and Adam made women out of, or I mean, God made women out of Adam's rib so that they'd be more subservient.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lilith was
Lilith got
cast
kicked
out
out
of
of
the
the Garden
garden.
of Eden because she was a top.
This book has like the Gospels of Mary, and it's more about Jesus as a child. And a lot of the stories about Jesus as a child were flat out made up, just like Josephus. Everything that Josephus supposedly said was forged by a monk.
Yep.
You know, so a lot of this is just back. Like, there's a story that Jesus, a kid fell off of a roof. Everybody accused Jesus, so Jesus brought the child back to life to prove that he wasn't a murderer.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's how this works.
Yeah, I've got
Yeah,
a
you know-
copy of the Gospel of Thomas around here somewhere, and you can see why they left that one out, because there's really no way to reconcile it with the four that they kept.
Oh yeah,
Even the
really-
gospel, like the. Sorry.
I really like the Gospel of Judas because, like, it just straight up says,
So long.
"No, Yahweh is a twat who wants to send you to hell."
Oh goodness.
It's been
Yeah, the
so
more I
long since
study
I've-
the Bible, the more I'm convinced of the idea that it was written by Satan to foster chaos among men.
Oh, are you a Gnostic?
It worked.
In that case,
It worked.
It did. It definitely did
that's
some shit
true.
to people. It sure did.
It
Yeah.
did.
Well, it's created more murder and war than anything in history. So wouldn't this be the work of the ultimate trickster god?
I was going to say,
Yes.
my attitude as a pagan is that it is either A, a man-made religion, or B, some sort of trickster deity that also branched out into Islam.
Well, they're all Abrahamic. They all kind of came from each other,
Yeah, and honestly, the Jewish conception of Yahweh is significantly nicer than both the Muslim and Christian conceptions.
Well, as time went on, people had to figure out a way to scare the hell out of people, so they created hell.
Yeah, that was around the 3rd century is when conceptions of hell as we know it started, though it did start forming, as best we can tell, I think from the late 1st century.
When I lived in Portland, I had this weird. I was going through some stuff, but I had Dante and pictures of Dante Inferno,
Dante's
really hardcore. I had those pictures all on my walls. Hell is just a great painting. Just a great painting.
What's funny is the reason why Dante's Inferno has some Greek influences is because there was this big kick on Greek mythology in I forget where Dante's Inferno was when it was written, not where it was.
9th century, I think.
Yeah, I can't think right now.
Well, who was the god before Hades?
Pardon?
The god before Hades that was in charge of the underworld was all about fire and shit. Like Wonder Woman's dad.
This is where my pagan brain is just like that.
Like Sokar in ancient Egyptian lore, and I got that from Stargate. Yes, I did.
Hell yeah, Stargate.
I'm from the 90s.
Hathor was so fucking hot.
She still tours around. They have cons before the Rona. They had cons, and she still tours around. And Cliff Simon actually recently passed. The guy who played Ball, if anyone cares.
Which one is that?
I don't remember.
Oh,
He was Ball.
that's he's a pretty good actor.
Lord Ball. Yeah. Great actor. Great actor.
The shyster.
I had a quick look.
He's got clones around somewhere still, I think.
So I just had a quick look. Dante's Inferno was 14th century, and the Apocalypse of Peter was late 2nd century.
Like Mitchell said, that's 2 balls and 1 strike.
What about his lips?
I have a question for the panel about the topic that I just remembered that I had, or I don't remember if I remembered it or if I just thought it up.
It's okay. It doesn't matter. Just throw it out there.
So what do you guys think of companies quite recently, this has become a big issue for no reason at all, but companies removing certain IPs to lessen the amount of stereotypes that are in circulation. For example, the end of Speedy Gonzalez and Pepe Le Pew in future Warner Brothers media.
Removing
or,
certain you mean IP addresses?
No, IPs as in intellectual properties.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I think
I know you're a computer geek. There's different IPs.
I'm going to tell you flat out. I think it's time. I think it's time for all of us to get over ourselves. And like, if someone doesn't want to be called a redskin, then you shouldn't call them a redskin. If someone doesn't want to be called, there's all kinds of things. It's time to move on. So if you want to call them potato head and it hurts your feelings, you're too old to be playing with them in the first place. It's not for us. It's for the younger generation.
But if you act all grown up like that, how can the politicians be relevant and make any money?
Well, I
Randolph had to bring that up.
Exactly.
See, there's See, the thing is, you should just replace all the governments in the world with 15-year-olds. They know everything anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
I,
Absolutely.
I'm
14
over. I
to
don't
14 to
think
21.
so. Perfect example. When I was a kid,
How do you spell
Um,
politician? C-U-N-T. Yeah.
it was acceptable to call everything. They would say Jewish, but they would say it as a derogatory thing. And those people grew up to hate Jewish people because it was used as a slur. I don't even want to say it the way they would say it because it was disgusting. And the way when I grew up, they didn't even hate people of color. It was always Jewish people. Because I grew up in a more of a not red. It was middle class, semi hillbilly. It was like the late 80s, early 90s. So I think it's important to tell people, from the jump, tell little kids like, no, we don't say this anymore. We don't do this anymore. I think it's important to kill certain stereotypes.
Yeah.
Because there's people there's certain people have to live it and they shut their mouths. They don't say, I've always been confrontational, but there are people who sit there and take it, and I feel sorry for people like that.
So the reason why I bring this up. So the reason why I bring this up, and you guys did not disappoint with your answers because I already knew that like everyone here would be for it. So thank you for helping me. This was a little research actually on my part. I'm running the same question in right-leaning circles as well, and from what I can see, there are two different groups in America that have differing opinions on this issue. There's the conservative, and I'm using conservative in the literal meaning that people who hold on to traditional values, conservative, right? Conservative people tend to think that these stereotypes are okay because it's all in good fun, whereas people who think more critically and who are more progressive in their thinking and who are willing to adapt their opinions understand that these can be damaging and have been damaging to people for a long time. For example, with the Pepe Le Pew thing, right? The stereotype there is that all French people stink and are sexual assaulters, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's not really a good. That's not real.
I never thought it was about all French people. I never thought that. I just thought it was that one character.
I feel like in reality, if you were to make, because it was designed at least partially as a caricature, but I feel like given recent data, that would be more aptly changed to be Brits, because I don't know how many of you guys will have seen this statistic, but 97% of young women in the UK have been sexually assaulted.
Wow.
That's
Jesus.
disgusting.
That's
Yeah.
Is that because the Catholics? No, they're after boys.
That's because of proximity, because you guys are all close to each other.
It doesn't matter why. The thing is that it does happen, and that's horrible. But yeah. So I guess because I heard those French stereotypes growing up as a kid for some reason. I don't remember where I heard them, but I know that that's the stereotypes, that's what Pepe Le Pew is based on. And if you look at all the Looney Tune characters, they're all based on either speech impediments or stereotypes. A lot of it is vicious humor, right? It's making fun of
and
things that
also,
can't be controlled. But
also sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, hold on, Will.
Personally, and my whole point for having this question in the first place is I think it's quite scary that there are people who are so ignorant to learning better social etiquette, better manners, right? That they are willing to die on this hill of defending a sexual assaulting skunk, which is really just a big French racist stereotype, right?
Right.
Yeah,
Or
like I feel like people.
See, when I was a kid, I remember those cartoons, and those thoughts never entered my mind, even though it's subtly there. We're just more interested in laughing about the cat acting funny and things like that, because the children's focus is very different. But as children grow, they do adopt and they gradually understand these things better. But what I'm noticing now with the younger generation, like both my kids here in Canada, they go to public school, and it's been a very good experience, and they've learned a lot there. What's happened from time to time, there was some kid in the school would make some kind of racist remark or something like that, or transphobic or homophobic or something like that. And what's different now compared to when I was a kid, if a kid made a comment like that, most people would just ignore it. But now what happens is they get major pushback, like a waterfall bursting through a dam, and they're severely outnumbered on it, and that makes me feel good, because that's a lot of people pushing back against it, and they are
I get to see. I get to then say that I get to then use the phrase "my lot" here to refer to kind of teenagers, so to speak.
Yeah.
But, we are generally, I guess, more progressive, but also more outspoken about bullshit. Like, also, I don't think I've ever met anybody my age who is actually conservative.
Well, here in Canada, though, where what has been noticed is the kids who are like this often come from a very strong religious background, and that's the pattern.
So,
there's no stronger zealot than a convert.
Yes.
I like to think of myself as a kind of spider with my fingers on different threads, and I'm in a lot of different groups. I'm in a lot of far right groups. Shockingly, I've infiltrated. I'm what 4chan calls a Jewish psyop. Apparently, they've called me that on 4chan before. I don't know what it means. I'm not Jewish, but I got my fingers on many different threads, and I hate to say it, but there is an alarming amount of people who are my age, so in the 22-year-old range, who are joining the conservative groups because of things like 4chan, or because of things like anti-SJW culture, or like
the
all
alt-right
these
pipeline is a thing.
So like it's not like because like it's easy if you are in a group of people who are like-minded, right? It's easy to miss all of the people who are outside of that purview, right? And I have some friends IRL that I have been friends with IRL who are really fucking conservative and really transphobic to me. They're not great friends, so I haven't talked to them in a while. But yeah, like
now I hope you're not overlooking. I hope you're not overlooking things like their upbringing and who their circle of friends primarily are.
Yeah.
They weren't like this when I was in high school, though. They weren't like this when I was in high school.
Oh, interesting.
So it was an adult choice, not something they were.
I knew it was Genesis.
So, I actually have a
wait.
Control that
Will?
laser up in outer space, causing wildfires.
Will, go ahead.
Because I grew up in the burbs. I have watched 90% of the people I grew up with become Trumpers. And I'm talking about people of color as well, Hispanic and black men, mainly black men, because it's easy to radicalize the disenfranchised. And I'm not talking about any people who are poor or anything. It's just people who were flat out disenfranchised. They felt, not represented.
Yeah.
And there's a woman that I've known basically my entire life. She grew up in a I always call it Dr. King's dream. Like where I grew up, it was a really peaceful place. I watched her become radicalized over the years because of Facebook, but she's a full blown Trumper. And like her and I have bonked a couple of times. And this was in the past, we were young, I'm in a small town. Everybody's effed everybody in a small town, But long story short, she's like full blown, flags on her truck, full blown like, oh, I only like white people now. I've watched her become somebody else over the years,
Yeah.
And mass movements, disenfranchised people fall in line with mass movements. because it gives them order, it gives them meaning, and it's not even about the movement. It's there was something wrong in that person's life before they found that, because she wasn't like
And
that.
a
And then
sense of
the Trump thing
community
came
and a
up, you know?
family
Yep.
and yeah.
Yeah.
It's people
Absolutely.
who are
You put that
searching for
red hat
some
on.
kind of community, and if that's the community that's going to accept them, then they try to, go along with what's popular there.
I
Go ahead,
think
Sam.
And she fit the bill.
I think part of the reason as well that I mostly interact with more left-wing people is that like most of my friends, with I think like 2 exceptions, IRL, are some form of LGBT. And this is just by accident.
To be fair, Will, I grew up in a small town too, and I didn't get laid by any of them. I had to go across the county line and get foreign diseases.
Well, I had to move out of that small town in Michigan because I wasn't going to take the chance with anyone there. There's too high a chance of wind up being a cousin.
You might get Lyme disease from all the beer.
What's your answer to that, Will? Are you talking political or religious extremism?
Both.
Can
Both,
I
because
say
that's
that?
another thing. Hold on, one more thing. She she basically grew up in the same church that I did, and even though I was extremely involved in it, that church was laid back for a Catholic church. Like you could wear board shorts and as long as you had a shirt and shoes on, no one cared. It was really informal. So even it was a California version, it was a suburbs version, even still to this day, because my mom still goes there. It's really laid back. So for as hardcore Catholic as I grew up, I know that she didn't, so it's just, it's weird. And now she posts all this like Jesus stuff, all this like really hardcore Christian. And where I'm from, no one really cared. No one cared.
Most of the churches here in Western Canada, not Alberta, but BC, are pretty laid back like that too. It's quite common here. I've only been to a couple because we're invited by friends or whatever, but that's not uncommon to see that here.
So I want to take a stab at Vanta's question. Lately, I don't really see a difference between the two. It's very hard to find someone who, if they're politically an extremist, they're most likely a religious extremist. And like very rarely do I find the two separated. And like they both
used to be.
Yeah, so I mean, and I guess it depends on what you define as extremism too. There are probably some people who think I'm an extremist because I don't like the authoritarian right-wing parties that exist in this country, right? So
yeah, well, extremist is anything to the right, of my opinion.
So the thing is, I think I probably have a skewed view of what extremism is, given I'm a dirty commie.
With pretty hair, Sam. Let's just be clear.
Yeah.
You got awesome hair.
I curled my hair yesterday, actually.
You fucker, you.
Dirty commie sounds like something I scream in the bedroom.
It's a bit like the bottom. Anyway.
It's a bit like I call myself a dirty pagan. Great.
I never yell shit like that.
I have to stop myself.
Oh goodness!
It's not happening in my bedroom since before I moved in.
I don't want to kill this stream every time because I'm super sexualized, and when I start, it makes people feel uncomfortable. I start getting weird stalkers, so I'm not gonna start throwing it out there because then I put my fishing pole out and I pull back a bunch of weirdos every time.
So if you're a
I've
weirdo,
noticed that good people do that. Will good people that care about others and bend over backwards for people? we end up with weird people on the fishing line. Yes, it's true.
If you're a weirdo and you
no.
were about to contact
Yep.
Will, please send your comment to my DMs instead.
Please send all comments to Genesis Undead. Jen likes that shit.
Oh, I'm
Public-
gonna
public
Destroy
redirect-
you.
I'm gonna redirect all
you
sorts.
See, this is
shall be destroyed in my
Uh-oh. It,
I've
Uh-oh.
actually got a bunch.
it's
of-
ruined
Oh
now.
no, the racist is here.
We got Stool.
Oh, Stool is awesome, and yes, my fishing pole is racist. It is.
look at
Oh,
this
Stool,
one. This is great. Read that
Now,
one.
so did I explain
My fishing
why?
pole short, shriveled, and hanging
He
to the
might
bottom.
just be here to see me work. You know, you might want to ask him.
Hey, have a great wank.
Have I explained the stool is racist thing before? Like people think I'm actually thinking stool is racist. I should probably clarify the joke. I was in the stream after the stream was ended. I was in a stream yard with some people, and Stool kept saying "you guy" or "you people" in reference to Americans, and so we all just like busted our asses off because he kept saying it. So Stool's racist.
Oh, and Stool, I've been watching. What is it? What's it called? Last of the Summer's Wine, and I'm in love with Nora Batty.
That was
I
a
love
good
that
show.
show now. Oh, I love that show now. When I grow up, I'm gonna be just like Nora Batty, bitter. I'm gonna have my buttons up to here, yelling at everybody. It's gonna be awesome.
Oh, is that Betty Bowers kind of thing going on?
You know, like the comedy from the 70s. You know, and that show was on. Jen looked it up. That show was on for what, like 30 years or some insane amount. So I have a
Which
lot of
one was
catching up
it?
to do.
What was the name of the
Last
show?
of the Summer, Last of the Summer's Wine. It's just people acting. It's just, it has a laugh
Never
track.
heard of it.
You know, I love I watch black and white movies. Like I love a lot of the older stuff, you know. And with the quarantine, I've started watching a lot of the old stuff that used to be on the BBC. So I've
I was
gotten into a
I was just about to
lot of-
say, have you been served?
Yeah, I like a
love
lot of the
that
BBC
show.
sitcoms from the 70s.
Hey, so
I
I just,
love Mr. Humphreys is my hero. Captain Peacock. I love
It always
been,
that
amuses
show.
me when Americans have watched more British TV than I have.
We've been rewatching Good Neighbors.
Yeah,
I
I grew up in
just-
Louisiana, and I
Hey,
watched.
I gotta, guys. I just realized it's like 9:43, so I have to go. But I have like one anecdote about some like damaging language from my life that comes from stereotypes, I guess, or like just general bigotry. And this comes from my own mother like 2 nights ago, and so when I came out as bisexual, like my parents really didn't give a shit. But when I came out, and I only came out to my mom, when I came out to my mom as trans, she still hasn't like when she and I are alone in the house, she'll still call me by my dead name, or like. Yeah, and then like 2 nights ago, I was like, I want to see a gender specialist because this is something that really bugs me. And she's like, "You still think you're a woman?" Yeah, not the great tone.
Oh
Not the
man.
great tone. Not the great. Not the greatest wording. Right, made me feel like shit for the rest of the night. You know,
it's not good.
and like
I'm sorry.
I'd understand if it was just like, hey, your dad grew up Catholic, maybe wait, or but like it's just a flat out she's skeptical of. And I've been thinking about this since 2013, right? I've considered myself trans since I was like 15 years old, right? So this isn't like something I just, oh, hey, I randomly decide today I'm trans. No, like this is something that's important to me and that I've thought over, right? And like it just really sucks. So that's some of like the reasons why I think spreading awareness and spreading positive information about these things is necessary, because there are people like my mom who still hold some conservative viewpoints and who still, like, because of stereotypes, thinks that I'm not trans because I don't fit her checklist of preconceptions as to what trans means, right? So
it's like your
that's
parents don't want you to be who you really are.
Well, it's more so that my mom doesn't believe me. I think. I don't know how, because she's like, your grandma would have a heart attack, your dad wouldn't understand. Please, like, I think she's hoping that I'm not, so that it's not a headache for her.
Shouldn't be a headache in the first place, but I guess with her right-wing conservative friend, it could be.
So
I. Oh, sorry, Jen.
What parents say to their kids is so important that it be nurturing and supportive.
Yeah. So, Jen, you're saying you have to go? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's the end of my anecdote.
Okay.
If I could shout out something real quick before I head out.
Go. Chill it.
So you might be wondering why I'm wearing this hood. Well, then you haven't seen Nat One Heroes yet, have you, pussy? Huh? Thought not. You think smoking's cool? Try Dungeons and Dragons, loser. No, Nat One Heroes is a collaborative D&D group that I am playing with Mikey Famine, Aisala, and it's DM'd by Jonathan Dishonest Ape. There's a lot of fun, hilarious moments that we have recorded. We're about 6 episodes recorded. We only have 1 available for you to view right now, but it's probably one of the highest production value shows that does D&D on YouTube. We've spent quite a bit of money on making sure everything looks good. Not only that, we have an on-hand graphics person, David. So yeah, we got a lot of cool stuff for you, and I hope you check it out. But yeah, I'm gonna head out, y'all. Thank you for letting me be on the stream, B. And
hey, anytime, Jen. You're always welcome.
Are you running the after party tomorrow after Neil's after party?
I
hope so. Let us know tomorrow.
I might have to discontinue the after party because it's keeping my parents up at night. So maybe if someone on Patreon wants to donate a shit ton of money so I can buy soundproofing and soundproof my entire wall, hint, patreon.com/Genesis Undead. I think it's Genesis Undead. And pay for soundproofing. I'll bring back the hotel lobby. I might have it tomorrow. I'll just be real quiet. So, I'm not going to shout out my own channel. Y'all know where to find me. It's literally Genesis Undead. If you search that, nothing else is going to pop up. But yeah, thank you, B, for letting me be on the stream, and thank you guys for being
Thanks
chill.
for coming, sweetheart. Oh yeah.
That's it. So I actually kind of, while we're still on the topic of tonight, I have a bit of a thing. I have opinions on, like, people will have a thing about hate speech where a lot of progressive people who identify as progressive will say that hate speech should be legal because we should have a right to offend. This is where I have a bit of a soapbox on the difference between offensive speech and harmful speech. And where I've gotten into arguments with a lot of my progressive friends where they think that all speech should always be allowed because otherwise it's limiting people's freedoms. But
it's
we
about
already
respect.
don't.
It's not about freedoms.
But we already, for example, limit speech in that
in public.
If you scream fire in a crowded theater and someone dies, that is on you legally. So we already limit speech. So if you say something that is harmful to a person, which, for easy example, slurs, then I think that should be illegal. Harmful speech should not be a thing you are allowed to do. Offensive speech, sure, I'm quite happy to offend people as long as it doesn't harm them.
So the problem I have with this is that if the people who are bigots and racists and angry and crazy are not are squelched from public discourse, then the problem is, first of all, I can't get to know who they are. Somebody else has decided for me to censor them. And the other problem is it drives a lot of them underground. And this is where it gets even more dangerous, is because when they're driven underground, they build up their own little communities that are out of public view. So people don't even know it's happening. And then one day they explode like a pressure cooker that's been left unmaintained. And then we have a bigger problem. So it's kind of like, what do we do here? We had some racists come, white supremacists. They came to Vancouver, BC a few years ago. And so I went down there to listen to what they had to say. That was my intention, to listen, and then to voice my objections, because I already disagree. But I want to hear what they have to say first and then disagree with that. I doubt they're going to make any kind of salient point that's going to change my mind on this. But I figured I'd be down there. Maybe a couple hundred people would be there as well. And turned out somewhere between 10 and 30,000 people showed up to voice objection to them, and they were surrounded by police the whole time because they needed to be protected from the angry crowd. So to me, this actually showed me that this society I live in, there's a lot of people who care about this stuff. And had the white supremacists not get to come down and share their point of view, which they paid to rent the space, outdoor space of City Hall for this, then I wouldn't know that there was this. I wouldn't have known there's this much support against racism and white supremacy and all that nonsense.
So I would kind of.
There's a plus and a minus to this, right? Is what I'm saying.
Where I would disagree with you there is that I would view that method of doing it as not directly harmful speech. So when I say directly harmful speech, I mean shit like screaming at people to commit suicide in the streets, which I've had done at me.
Yeah. So that's inciting people to harm themselves, or you're inciting people to commit some kind of act of violence. That's already
harmful speech.
Yeah, that's
literally just directly harmful speech. That's my thing I'm against here.
Yeah, and the distinction here is that it's still protected under freedom of expression, but there are consequences to those specific things, because what they're trying to do is escalate from the free exchange of ideas to harmful actions. And when you're escalating to violence, that's where you're crossing the line, and that's
but that's where a lot of progressive people disagree and say those people should still be allowed to do it, and that's my issue.
But the thing is, though, like we had a Trump rally in LA. There was a Trump rally in LA, and so the Trumpers, they were marching down the street. And I don't know, like 10,000 people showed up to be against the Trumpers. So the cops had to protect the Trumpers. And they literally created a wall because half the city showed up to beat the crap out of these guys. But shit. They were asking for it. And some of the guys veered off and they were beaten severely. So I'm gonna tell you honestly, they were provoking people. They were egging on. They were saying, "What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?" I live in a place where if you run your mouth, you better back it up. Doesn't matter who you are, what you are. Somebody's gonna challenge you.
Yeah.
And if you're screaming MAGA, and you have a wall of police, and then these guys literally got jumped behind a 7-Eleven, and it was sad because a news crew caught it. But these guys were screaming at 10,000 people all afternoon, and what do you expect?
And I think Sam, when you're talking to people, sorry, go ahead.
I want to say something really quick. For as much as I'm LGBTQI++, like for all my politics, for everything, because I'm an extreme lefty, I still believe in consequences and repercussions. If I walk down the street punching people, someone's gonna hit me over the head with a 2x4. If I act a certain way, people are gonna reciprocate. So
or you'll get arrested.
Yeah, exactly. So in the real world, there's repercussions for your actions, and that's where I get a little bit old school. Be who you are, be what you are, but don't hurt other people.
Right. That's exactly what I say. Be whatever you're going to be. Just don't hurt anybody in the process. Yeah. Right.
And anybody
Stool brings up a good point here. I was just going to say this too. There's an anti-protest law going on, and I think it's here in the United States. And I don't know if Stool, where you live, if that's what you got going on too.
So
But
yeah, in the UK we've
right
had
now,
something
people
similar.
are protesting an anti-protest law.
Yep.
So it's becoming law that you cannot peacefully assemble.
That's a human
to
rights
protest.
violation,
Bullshit.
in my view. Yeah.
Yes, it
Well,
is.
in the
I think
U.S.,
Sam-
that's got to be
And
found
it goes against
unconstitutional.
multiple countries, not just
So,
America.
and what Sam was saying,
Multiple countries'
people-
constitutions,
and
not just America.
Sam was saying about people instructing other people to harm themselves. I would say that fits in very much the same kind of category as threatening to hurt someone directly yourself. That's like instructing someone to harm, it's like Charlie Manson did to instruct other people to commit murders and harm people. So it doesn't matter if you're instructing someone to harm someone else or instructing someone to harm themselves. You're inciting violence, in my view.
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah,
Well, and that's
and
already
like
been
that,
prosecuted for people online
would agree
telling
with that.
someone to go kill themselves.
Oh yeah, big time. That's that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's lots of people that have gone to jail or pretending to be somebody else and telling them to go kill, telling them to go kill themselves.
Now, that new law that's censoring protests or forbidding protests in the UK, is the UK a signatory on the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights?
probably, I don't know.
Because
but-
that might be an angle to fight it and call it the law is illegal as a human rights violation if it is. And check the Human Rights Declaration, because I think there's stuff in there about peaceful assembly and things like that. And freedom to associate. Those kind of things, I believe, are in there. I know they're in their Canadian one, and I think a lot of that is very similar in the United Nations one.
I think the rule should just say you can have free speech, don't be a dick, and then underneath addendum 2 is the definition of dick, and then we're done.
Yeah.
Just don't be a dick.
So in the
Yeah, the
early
first part.
90s,
Then you're just going to get puppet shows of dildos. Hi, how you doing? I'm a dick.
back in the
I do that all the
day.
time. That's old school.
So who here has heard of Marion Barry? Does anyone remember Marion
where do I
Barry?
know that name?
He got caught smoking crack with 2 hookers on surveillance. He was a mayor of DC.
Oh yeah, that's it.
Okay.
And why is that a crime?
So no, but
Crack's
they
illegal?
wanted-
Oh,
they
okay.
wanted to
I was wondering about the other
well,
part.
he was in DC, but the one thing that a lot of people forget about Marion Barry is that he upheld freedom of speech, no matter what. When he was mayor, if you came to Washington D.C., he would protect you. So he protected the KKK. You could go back and watch it on TV. There are a line of black cops protecting the KKK because he believed in the freedom of speech. And no matter what, if you protested in DC, he would protect you. And it's not like that anymore. People, we have all these great laws here, but people don't uphold them anymore. California, we have great laws, but people don't enforce half of them. So for as much as people trash the guy, he stood for freedom of speech more than anybody I've ever seen, and he protected it even when it was against his interest.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
even when it wasn't cool. Yeah.
the ACLU has also
In
stepped
a
into a
land
number
where
of
humans
situations
don't
like
matter,
that.
neither do their laws.
What's that, Purple?
The ACLU has
Mikey!
also stepped into a number of situations like that. Like when the Nazis wanted to march through Skokie, the ACLU actually supported the Nazis in court because, according to the way the law was written, they had the right to that protest.
Yeah, they do, and you know what? That's why someone like Marion Barry, even as a kid, kind of taught me, like, unfortunately, that's what America stands for. Even it's just a powerful image to watch black cops protecting the KKK. If you have time, you could put it on YouTube.
Very ironic image.
So,
But if we're not willing to
Now
support the
to
rights
kind
of
of-
people, if we're not willing to
Exactly.
support the rights of people we don't like, we can't expect our right to be protected either.
and that's my whole
Agreed.
point of it nowadays. But the problem is the right are the very snowflakes that they claim that the left is. I don't know. The right
But
needs to
they're
clean
dirty
it.
snowflakes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
No,
a
I
huge
think in
emotional
general,
reaction.
Hi, Mikey.
Oh, Mikey's here.
I
Mikey,
can't hear
you're
you.
muted, mate.
Mikey is muted.
Re-unmute. Do that. Do the mute thing twice so you're unmuted. Oh, wait for it.
Hello.
There we go.
We should have all just
There
pretended we
it
couldn't hear him.
is.
So apparently, StreamYards thought, hey, let's use his fucking thing that connects to his Xbox as his microphone. Let's
Yeah.
start with that. We'll start with that one, and then we'll move on from there. Why would that? Why would that be? Come on, you guys listen to all my damn conversation to sell me fucking advertisements. Pick my fucking microphone that's in front of me on a goddamn camera that I know you're watching me through. Hi, everyone.
Hey, Mikey, what
And
what
to
part of the
deep breath
galaxy are
and
you from? Because my
let it
neighborhood
out.
looks better than yours. I think yours
this
is
is
a
my-
dull neighborhood. It might be winter, but mine is in spring.
This is my home galaxy. That's the Milky Way, my friend.
Oh, okay.
That's where I'm from. You know, I just like to let people
I'm
know.
from
Like,
Psychedelica. Do some acid.
you're from Lucy in the Sky with Diamondsville. Got it.
Yeah, baby. What?
You betcha, Red Rider.
Red Rider.
What was the last topic? Because Godless Owen was saying something. I was like, yeah, the black cops were protecting the KKK dudes, and I was like, but that shit happens all the time. Like, there's all kinds of like super militant groups that like, I got a permit and I'm gonna march down the road carrying a bazooka on my back because I have a right to do so. And then the cops that happen to be in the neighborhood were like, yo, these motherfuckers got a permit to fucking go walk down the street, whatever the fuck that's gonna do. I need y'all to make sure that nothing bad happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
See,
there's
yeah,
all
make
these
sure I
other
can do it.
motherfuckers coming at them, right?
I find
And that's
it
what we
really
were
funny.
discussing. We were discussing freedom of speech, right to protest,
Yeah.
and
So-
freedom of speech is okay, but you shouldn't be a dick and hurt people with it.
Yeah.
But
So
like
I
I
just
said,
did a
it's
quick.
also
I just,
sorry, it's
I-
consequences and repercussions.
Right.
I just did a quick Google.
You gonna
and
eat your
it looks like
cornbread?
it looks like there's more than
Sam?
150 human rights
Sam, start
groups.
that all over again, please.
So I've just done a
you're
quick
fine.
Google, and it looks like there's more than 150 human rights groups in the UK arguing against this new anti-protesting bill.
Yeah, that's kind of important.
Mm.
You should have the right
Because
to
it's
be
human
able to
rights.
tell people. Yeah.
Yeah, we're right back to that again.
given
aren't
we're
we?
about yay close to throwing out the royal family in the first place, I think.
I think they're done.
What the hell are you going to do
I'm
otherwise? You know, you go to protest. Oh,
I'm
yeah,
done.
well, I'm sorry.
Like, and I think this kind of relates to. I missed the first part of it. I was preoccupied before I hopped in. So it's strange to me that the liberty folks, the people who are all about their individual freedoms, fuck Dr. Seuss. The same dudes who were like, yo, I want my gun and I want it unregistered and I want 1 million of them, are the same dudes that are just like, no brown people. I was like, wait, if you don't care, then you
Right.
don't care. Then just don't care. And if you didn't care, then I wouldn't be mad at you. But when you say you don't care about certain things, and then certain things should not be regulated, especially by the government, but then at the very same breath, you're just like, get those books off the shelves. Why do I gotta drink through a fucking Happy Holidays cup? I'm like, dude, you're really fucking going all in with a fucking big vein in the middle of your forehead over a fucking cup? That's
No, it was
weird.
war here.
Like,
It was
like-
war
like-
here. At the Starbucks cup. They were fighting. Like
That's what I'm like-
it was war here. It was the
like-
stupidest thing.
like I've been in a couple fights. I ain't never gotten into a fight over what color my cup was, and then fought somebody who didn't even design the cup.
Yeah.
Damn it, I like blue.
I want my Santa Claus cup now. Bitch, I don't have
You
no
know what,
cups.
dude?
What you want me to do? I have this
You
is
know
the
what,
only cup they mailed me. Shit, what you want?
People are crazy. 20 years ago, I was a manager at a good old stinky Carl's Jr. God, it was 20 years ago. People would call and complain about the commercials. And I'd be like, I'm like, you realize you called the store, right? Like, you realize I don't.
You try to use logic.
Yeah.
Look at him. He cute. He said, this is the store, right? They're like,
that's the first time I thought it was a prank call. I hung up, and they called the district manager. I thought it was a prank call. Like, I don't have time when you have a job like that, or you're on your feet all day. Like, I don't have time to even laugh at you right now. But people are crazy.
Right.
People are insane.
Some of
And it
us are
wasn't just
crazy on
little old
purpose.
ladies.
So
But that's
and I think
fun crazy.
But I think that goes back into what y'all were talking about. What do we allow, like for the First Amendment thing? What's okay and what's not okay? Because I think someone should have the right to call me and ask me to change the goddamn commercial that I'm not the fucking executive producer on. Like, I don't know what they expect me to do.
Oh,
but at the same time,
those were good times.
but at the same time, I don't want to allow like sex offend or like sexual predators. I don't want them to be able to bolster their numbers. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that should be protected just as much as like me being angry at the government. That should be protected from the government. Like the government shouldn't be able to shut me up for being upset with it. But I don't want to.
What do you mean by protecting chomos? Like, do you mean
I don't
know
that they need
or
no. I'm saying for like if they wanted to have some sort of event and other people want to shut that event down, I kind of want to pick and choose and say, okay, if you want to just protest your government, that's one thing. But if you want to have a KKK rally, I don't know. If you want to like support like nasty, incestuous, like I don't think you should be okay to do that. But at the same time, I don't know where that line is for what
you shouldn't be able to advertise for something that promotes illegal activities.
Exactly.
I agree.
But I think I would agree to that. I would agree with that to some extent. The only problem is how you define illegal defining it as illegal activities. I take issue with because, for example, I would very much like to be able to arrange a protest for the government to legalize prostitution because I don't think there's anything wrong with sex work. But if you say we can't promote anything,
Sam's got a good point
illegal,
here.
Oh wait, Randy, let him finish. Hold on.
It's a fine line. Oh, go ahead.
The thing is that if you keep it to you can't promote things that are illegal, then how are you ever going to remove unjust laws?
I think that's a. Oh, go ahead, Randy, and then I'll hop in. Sorry.
Well, it's an issue of public lawmaking and morality intertwined with these laws and what we view as societal morality. And a lot of our laws are based on that. Some of our laws are based on, just power. But what Sam's trying to make a point is the individual rights and everything. Where are we going to decide, what laws are we going to, we got to come together and have a really good discussion of, okay, let's do or don't do something according to the law. Okay, no, why do we have this particular law? Is it moral, or is it, some asshole had on the records in 1810, you're going to get arrested and hanged for spitting on the sidewalk.
I think a simple baseline that should be used, I don't see it used, but should just be that if you don't have a victim, you don't have a crime.
I like that.
Will's big fishing pole.
I laughed the second I saw that. I have a perfect example. So, I ride bikes. Okay. So in California, you have to wear a helmet when you're on a motorcycle. In the state of Nevada, you don't. So when people cross over, they take their helmet off. Is it better to wear the helmet or is it better to not wear the helmet?
I guess, I
Or
would base that off of where you are.
Or
Like
should
when I go out in
everyone
the
just
middle of
wear
the
an
country
effing
and I
helmet?
Should it be
ride,
your
I don't
right?
wear a helmet. But I get
I
into
don't-
town,
yeah.
I put a fucking helmet on.
Okay, let's.
Exactly.
Mikey
True.
had something
Yeah,
to say
true.
about this.
I don't know that that's tricky because it kind of like borders on like bodily autonomy versus public safety versus then there's some capitalist fucking things painted on that because motorcycle insurance would be higher if people didn't wear helmets because more of them would die. And I think that would increase the rate of your insurance, which I also don't think that they would want to. There's a lot of tendrils to this weird tentacle porn that you guys are weaving here. But I don't know that it's just like someone had like with the masking and shit like that. People are saying you can't make me wear a mask, or the government shouldn't be able to force me to wear a mask. I'm like, but if there's a pandemic, do we just say, fuck it?
Well, the bottom line is we as humans need laws to protect us from ourselves.
Each other.
We do.
Yeah.
That's why there's so many laws out there. It's like, these fucking laws. We're trying to keep people that have no common sense from dying. It's about humanity.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have
I've
crazy
already written
gun
about
laws
this
here.
very thing in all my books.
It's not because people don't own guns, it's because everybody has a gun. That's why when they would say, lefties, like, and it's easy to get shot here. So we have a bunch of crazy laws,
Where are
to
you at?
protect people.
LA.
I'm in Southern California.
Oh, SoCal, that's right.
Here in Canada,
LA-ish.
Here in Canada, just the other day, just last week, I think it is, we just passed new gun laws to make it even more restrictive.
And I'm sorry, but I think it should be restricted because if a girl has to travel almost 2.5 states to get an abortion, if it takes fucking 16 weeks to get your fucking grievance filled out with your union, if it takes 8 weeks to get fucking unemployment insurance, it should take you fucking 3 weeks to get a fucking gun.
Yeah.
No,
and here's the thing. Here's a double standard. What we live past with this Trumpism bullshit. I've heard. I had an argument even with my sister about, she was talking about, I said, hey, kids in cages, Mexican border, kids in freaking cages. Well, it was Obama who built them things. And I said, yeah, and it was Remington who made the guns. So guns don't kill, people kill. So the person actually doing the activity against human rights, they're not going to be responsible. So it's a double standard. You're not, you're going to say that guns don't kill people, people kill people, but then you're going to turn around and say people don't, put other, divide families and keep their children in cages. It's the person who built the damn place.
I really hate to be a diva right now, but I have to add one more comment. Yo, if anyone saw fucking Coco from Pixar and then thought the Mexican cages was okay, you have no heart at all. That was the most beautiful movie
Coco?
ever.
Coco hurt my feelings.
Yeah, he did.
too.
What are you talking about?
Coco
hurt my feelings.
I was weeping. If you watched Coco and didn't feel nothing, yo, what's something wrong with you? Yo, Coco is that shit. Real talk. If you didn't like
you're
Coco,
a callous motherfucker. That's
the last Coco I
real.
saw was Coco Taylor, the Blues Queen.
I don't know what Coco is, but it sounds like one of those dodgy things that Will watches on his weird channels.
Yeah.
Coco
and it's the name of a stripper. It's the name of a stripper that I knew. Yeah, he stalked me for like a year and a half.
What up, Coco? I know you're watching right now, Coco. Call in, Coco. We want to hear from you.
How's it going, Stu? I missed you. You're racist. How you doing?
He was racist. Never mind. Fuck Coco.
No, Stool, not Coco.
No, Stu and I, we call each other racist. It's our back and forth.
I just
fun.
heard Will talking about his
My
big black
imagination's
hole,
still on
and
the
I
strip
wanted to
club,
join
but you
in.
guys go ahead.
Oh, I thought Coco was a for real stripper. I was like, yo, shout out to Coco. Oh wait, Coco's bad.
I'm
no,
not.
that was happening.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not kidding you. I knew a go-go dancer, and his name was Coco, and he was trouble, but he was fun too at the same time.
I thought you were saying Coco was racist. I was like, man, I gotta get off the Coco train. I was in love with Coco for a minute. I had to give it all up. Coco had a bad heart.
I used to go to the strip club and pretend I was deaf and get a free chicken sandwich and a couple of rum and cokes. I could have won an Emmy for that shit.
So what was that?
Yeah, I used to go to the strip club with my army buddies, and then I'd pretend that I was deaf, and they would back me up.
It was
And I-
Randy. We were being funny because you said you pretend to be deaf.
Yeah, yes, I did.
Oh.
Was
Is that true, Will? Is your background in response to Stool always picking on us Americans?
I'm a
I'm
taking the
really
flag
good
back
boy.
from
You all know this.
From all the angry Trumpers and all the weirdos who, the American flag has been associated with a bunch of angry white guys. I'm just trying to remind people who live here.
Break the stigma.
Absolutely.
Your Nigerian prince has arrived.
I'm actually.
Yeah, man.
I have a Nigerian flag hanging on behind my computer over there. That made me laugh when I saw that. That's awesome.
Mickey, stop that.
Okay, Will,
Stop
is there a
that
country
shit,
you
or
don't
you're
have a flag
you're
for?
gonna entice all my local women.
Okay,
That's why they had to. That's why they stopped putting the bus line out there.
So I love I love the question that Perp just asked me, and I'm thinking, no, there's all kinds of flags I have.
Okay, do you have one for the People's Socialist Democratic Republic of Carbamia?
No, but I have the Japanese
Will,
rising
how do you
sun.
not have that?
I have the Japanese rising sun. I also have.
He doesn't have it because he's
so-
a racist.
I also have the North Vietnamese flag. I have all kinds of weird flags. I'm a real life picker, so if it's weird or rare, I'll
Fuck
and
it.
plus they did this weird thing on Amazon.
No, not literally.
I have a patch that says it says "fuck you, I have enough friends." So I was reading this article that says Amazon's getting rid of all their old patches. I went on Amazon, I guess I caught the last day. I ordered every dirty patch, every crazy flag I could order, and now you can't get half of that stuff.
Oh, them motherfuckers vintage
So-
now.
Oh, if I wanted to get a patch, I would just go to one of the punk shops in Manchester because there's a bunch of little local ones.
And you said something that's important because that was part of my culture when I was growing up. It was the rock punk culture. You always had patches, stores everywhere. Even in the skate shop era, they had patches, and that's disappeared. At least around here, it's completely. When I lived in Oregon, they had.
When I lived
in Oregon,
they're getting the buttons and the patches, and they're starting to wear denim again. It's happening.
Oh yeah, it absolutely.
Well, I know
is.
that because the price of denim has gone up. As someone who buys massive amounts of denim, the price has gone up because the market's gone back up.
Yeah, the difference is the people it's coming into fashion with are people who want to dress aesthetically punk, as opposed to people who do these things for the reasons people who are traditionally punk would do them. For example, patches were a response to them being poor. Denim was cheap at the time. Leather was cheap at the time, which is why these things became punk. And so these punk aesthetics are coming back, but
I'll see you later. I have to go get some supplies, so I'll
take care.
Thanks for coming in, Randolph.
See you later.
Yeah, the fashion style that really bugged me.
Thanks to everyone in the chat.
Randolph,
Bye, Randolph.
builder, can he build it?
Yes.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can.
Thank you, everyone.
See you later. That's an old school principle that I still live by. I don't wear a patch that I haven't earned, and I don't like create something that I haven't experienced. Even in my art, even in stuff that I represent, because it's still kind of the LA style. It's still it's through experience.
Me too.
I was saying, like I told Randolph when I was a little kid, my cousin took me to a Slayer show when I was 12, and that was the first time I saw someone get punched in the face. And I was like, I love this music. This is insane, you know. And I fell in love. Same with No Effects. I saw them when I was a little kid.
Yeah, dude.
I can sing certain albums like word for word, you know. But it's so when I see someone wearing No Effects stuff, I want to hit them up, but I would be mad if someone hit me up. So I keep my mouth shut. Like right now, I'm wearing a Black Label Society shirt. I've seen them a few times over the years, you know. So it's one of those things. I don't wear anything that, you know, a band I don't know.
This was our topic
that I
the other night.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right.
The only
I almost feel like. Well, go ahead. I'll stop.
the only time I will wear band T-shirts or whatever is when I've got them as like gifts from friends. Like I actually have one of my exes who's really like traditionally punk, but also into punk music. Gifted me a couple of their old band T-shirts, and so like I will wear those despite the fact I don't listen to those bands because I peripherally know enough about them, and it was a gift.
I have a bunch of jerseys too, and like I won't wear a jersey if I haven't been to that city. I'm weird. Like if I haven't been there, I won't wear that jersey. It's a weird code though. I'm old. It's the code of the old guys.
I've
Same
had
thing
people
with
give
Sam.
me
You know, I
T-shirts
get a lot
that
of
say like
comedic
Mexico on
T-shirts
it or
from people.
something. I'm like, I'm not. Oh, dude, where'd you get this? I went on vacation, but I never went there. It just feels weird to me, like you're saying I know some shit, but I don't know. So why would I say I know some shit?
To be fair,
I get
my
T-shirts
little-
with a fan and a vacuum on it that says "You suck, blow me."
Those are vacuums. Those are not T-shirts. And if they're using T-shirts to make them, that's not your fault.
No,
You didn't do
T-shirts with
You
picture
know-
of a vacuum cleaner on it and a fan that say "You suck,"
You know what,
and
though?
the other one says "Blow me."
I'm old
You know,
school,
never.
though.
I have
Like,
to
when
say you're right. We went way off of equality, but we're getting to the end here. I've been going for almost 2.5 hours, so I'm gonna kill it soon. If anybody wants to do like an after stream
Yeah.
or something,
I can do it.
set
I'm
it up
already
right
set
now
up.
while we're finishing up, and you can I'll throw it in the chat for you or whatever if somebody wants to do some kind of something.
All right.
I'd like to talk to Mikey for a minute.
Oh no!
Thank you, B.
I've done nothing to you. I've done nothing to deserve this mistreatment. I've done nothing to deserve this mistreatment.
All topics are equal. Figures you both would type that in the chat, right? Anyways,
Yeah.
so does anybody have anything going on in the next couple days? Mikey, you do it first because yours is probably the longest explanation.
Maybe I should go last then. You want me to go first? All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me go through my week. Sundays, you can catch me. Well, you can't catch me anywhere. I'm recording Nat One Heroes, which is a 5th edition D&D podcast that me and a couple of friends that you probably already know. All of them are
Yeah,
Neil's
we
buddies,
discussed it
except for one.
earlier. They already have the link. I already put it in the chat earlier.
You're awesome, B. So you can catch us on Fridays. That'll come out Friday at 7 p.m. Central. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, you can catch me hanging out with Neil, the 604 Atheist, hanging out in the background and hanging out in the after shows. True North Talk is on the way, so make sure you guys go over to that channel and sub. Thursdays is my flagship show, The Bin Podcast, where me and my 4 knucklehead friends from all over the country get together every week and we discuss the last week's pop culture and politic issues. It's a hoot. And I think I missed one. Oh, Wednesdays, Dig on America, the podcast is on YouTube every Wednesday. It's like 10:30 Central. It's super late. So there's my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things that I do every week. What about you guys?
Will, what do you got?
Tomorrow I'll actually be on Neil at 64 Atheists at 5 o'clock West Coast time, 8 o'clock East Coast time. And at the same time, actually, Godless Granny will be doing a charity stream for Jen from at Jen Little Corner. So everybody should be popping back.
And I'll be on that.
Right. And every Thursday, Jen from Jen's Little Corner and we do the What the Fuck show, and we judge people and we have topics where we point the finger, overbearing atheist kind of stuff, every week. It's fun. Come on down.
I'm usually on there too. Fun.
It is fun.
We just, we just chat. We just talk, chat about life, all the good, having fun with friends, having a good time.
Right. Randy, what do you got coming up?
On Thursdays, I have at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Shedding Mysticism. And this week I have Grumpy Old Dude on there, and we're going to shed some mysticism about American history and Native culture. And I have ties to Native culture, and he is studying a whole bunch of it on his end as well. And we're going to try to break some stigmas about what to call Indigenous people, how they feel about, society and history and what's going on in the wrong that's happened to them with genocide and all that other stuff. And on Saturdays, I have Live with the Harmonica Man, and I need interview guests. So I need guests on that one too, as far as musicians talking about music, usually harmonica stuff, but music theory, whatever, lessons, whatever we got to talk about. Mr. Shadow Kitty's been on there a few times. Stuff like that, just kind of informing the public what's going on with music. And
good deal.
Other than that, just joking around and playing pranks and shit on people and getting, slapped in the face and getting a date later on.
Hey Randy, have I ever introduced you to Nakasuchi?
Is that like Japanese food?
No, he's
Nope.
he's
Atheist.
Sorry, that was really funny.
he is not.
It
He is
comes
not.
with a nice
golden nori.
fine broth.
You use an udon noodle
Oh.
when you're eating
That
Nakasuchi.
sounds like something I order at my favorite sushi bar. I never thought about it like that. Oh, that's great.
I prefer pho.
Anywho,
Pho with Nakasuchi. Anyways, the Raging Atheist is Nakasuchi. He is part native and a big activist, and would probably love to talk to you about that stuff.
Yeah, I think it'd probably be a good get, I should say.
Mikey, hook up Randy with that shit. Get that.
I
hooked
can
up
do that
for
right
him.
now.
yeah.
All right, cool. Stool. Hi, Stool.
Hello.
Bye,
How you
Stool.
doing, sweetheart? You got anything coming up? Any
Firstly, I'm
stream?
not sure that anybody can hear me. And secondly,
No, you
no.
sound fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think the correct term is sexy.
Only Robert
term-
said that,
correct-
and he said he thinks it might be the drugs.
Correct term for what?
She said fine, but I'll let it slip. It's okay.
Yeah, Randy,
Oh,
another
you're going with
suggestion
Daddy
in the
Stool.
side chat for you.
Stool, you
Daddy
got anything
Stool,
coming up
yeah.
you want to shill?
No, I never have, but Randy just reminded me I forgot to do something. I was going to make a funny video about Daddy's stool, but I completely forgot about that. Plus, I'll get my bottom spanked by
Rage
YouTube
who?
if I do.
We're not even going
Oh
there.
no, you'll
Sam,
lose
what do
your
you have
millions of
coming up?
dollars.
I keep getting waylaid with this bloody video on pronouns, but it is coming, hopefully in the next few days. And do you guys know Cirrus?
Yep.
But so so on Ceris's live stream the other day, something basically happened that is now being referred to as the Uwu Wars. So I clipped that and put that clip on my YouTube channel with Ceris's consent, of course.
You don't need
And
it.
then I will also. This is probably at least a few weeks off yet, but me, Will, and our friend Maddie are starting up a podcast called Pub Religion. The premise of which being an atheist, a Christian, and a pagan walk into a bar, and then we're just going to kind of chat about different topics and stuff.
Okay.
It's lovely.
And it's lovely. That's right. Hi, brother. You came right at the end. You have perfect timing if you didn't want to listen to us. Purple, what do you got coming up?
Well, Wednesday will be my 200th live stream on YouTube. Wednesday at noon Central Time.
Awesome.
So at this rate, my number of streams is going to overtake my number of subscribers.
As it
So,
should.
and then
Nice.
first at midnight, I run my live streams. And then Thursday at 9 o'clock, I'm usually on with Will and Jen. And Friday evenings at 7, I'm usually on with the Shills.
Nice.
And this week,
Nice.
this week,
Good deal.
now that I think about it, sorry, this week I'll probably be doing it live on the Godless Sewing channel.
Doing it live.
Okay.
Doing it live.
Doing it
Fuck
live.
it, we're doing it live.
Hubba.
On
Let me not do that anymore. I just saw myself
OnlyFans.com/godless
doing that.
sewing for all your doing it live needs. You little freak of leaks.
Don't even go there right now. Cadence, you got anything going on right now?
Be careful.
Well, I was going to start streaming curio collections as a live stream this week, but my internet still hasn't recovered from the ice storm. So my upload speed is about half a meg on average, which is shitty for a live stream.
Yeah.
But what
Not
I
gonna
am
do
doing, yeah, it's not going to do it. It peaks at 3, by the way.
Ooh.
But what I am going to do, if you've seen my channel, I have an ecosphere system that I started. I am composing the 5 to 6 month update for it with lots of DSLR footage and microscope footage and everything like that.
Nice.
Hopefully I can get that done this week or this weekend, and that'll be up soon. And when my internet recovers, Curio Collections is going to start being live streamed.
Awesome.
Cool.
But we
Okay,
have
so
to
now it's my
cover that.
turn. I got more shit than all of you except for Mikey, I think.
Gotcha.
So,
that was only half of it.
right, I know, right? That was just this week, motherfucker. No, seriously. So, every Monday I will have some kind of an equality stream. Might do open mic stuff like this. It might be BLM. It might be trans. I don't fucking know. I just want us all to get along, so that's why I figure I do this. Every Wednesday night, and these are all 8 p.m. Eastern. Every Wednesday night, I will be doing the drunk or not so drunk atheist history stream. Anybody can jump into that if you want. Let me know on Twitter, or I don't know. Just get a hold of me. I'm everywhere. And then
Grab
on
a hold of
Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern, will be open mics. Come and talk about whatever the hell you want. I don't care. We can just bullshit. It's cool. It's always a good conversation, so I'm not worried about it. And tomorrow night, I will be on Granny's at 8 p.m. Eastern for the fundraiser. So I will be doing that.
Cool.
And I'm going
What's
to
the
miss
fundraiser
Will
for?
on Neil's show, and I'm sad.
What's
But,
the fundraiser
we'll-
for?
For Jen's little corner. Jen?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's been going through a bunch of shit, moving, brother sick, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah.
She hurt herself.
Yes,
so
Randy.
She had.
Yeah, she hurt. Did she have shoulder
Um,
surgery or something?
I haven't heard any
Two?
word back.
Not yet.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anything back from Diana, but I'm trying to start a GoFundMe to save her life and get her the treatment that she needs through dialysis and everything. But she's pretty much ignoring me right now. Julie is trying to get a hold of her and try to change her mind and let me do this for her. But this is an idea that some of us folks a few days ago come off. I'm always joking around about let's have a shine off and everything with these bald heads. And, you know, it turned into, hey, we can do this for charity and for fun, and we can have people do individual things. And it's just a waiting game right now to get permission from her. And as soon as we do, it's on. I'm starting a fundraiser, and I would like people to get their individual communities involved and things like that. I really would like our friend to be alive.
Yeah, I agree. And like
The
I
bin
told you,
podcast
Randy,
is behind you.
once you guys, hold on a second, Mikey, I'll let you say that again. Once you guys get going, you know, I'm willing to. I mean, I can't pitch in money, but I'll pitch in time, stream time, whatever. I'll help out whatever way I can. Mikey, what?
The bin podcast is behind you. Typically, I hate you, Harmonica Man, but the bin podcast will support this as the most handsome.
Are you
person
jealous
on
of
the
my
show.
sexiness?
See, now you're just
That's
gonna
what
fuck
it
the
is.
whole situation up. As the most sexiest person on the show, I will convince my cohorts to jump in, and we will do what we can do for this endeavor.
Excellent. Thanks, Mikey.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. All right, everybody. You guys are great. Thank you so much for coming on. You know, I always enjoy
one
the
more thing.
conversation. What?
I put the link in the private chat. Can you put it in the what's it called?
Oh. For anybody that wants to come into an after party, is that what this is? Is that what this is?
Yeah, I got the link up there, so I'll let you share that amongst the populace. But it's ready.
Okay.
I'm ready.
Got it. All right. So anybody wants to continue conversation or hang out with the fabulous Mikey and everybody else, here is the link. So you guys can jump in. Do you have the regular stream and not just the panel link?
Like the YouTube link.
Yeah. No, I didn't.
Yeah, the YouTube link.
It's gonna pop up when I go live. I don't worry about all that stuff.
Okay. Well, I didn't know if everybody was subscribed to you, sir.
Yeah.
So I just didn't
Not
know.
everybody knows your channel. so
Anyways,
Shit. So you want my YouTube link? I should probably do that. Hold on.
yeah, give it to me.
Yeah, 'cause I
Because some
wanna
of
know
these
about
people,
it.
how are they going to find you, man? You're everywhere and nowhere.
Hey,
all
you
at
know
once.
what? You know what? That's a very good question, and someone should have that answer.
You can't just tease the audience by saying it's going to pop up when I go live and then not give the link.
That's why I'm going to bring Homeboy in here, because he needs to say all of those things. What is going on here? Page unresponsive.
Well, while he's looking for that, I just want to thank everybody for coming on the panel, and people who have left included. All my usual suspects that show up in the chat. I really do appreciate you guys. And I always appreciate the conversations, and I appreciate the honesty. And you know, one of the things I really love about the people that come on and talk on here and are in the chat is we are always respectful of each other. We talk over each other a little bit, but that happens. But we're always respectful of each other, and we're always supportive of each other. And I would love to just keep that going. I think that's amazing. And we are nicer here than most of the Christian streams. So thank you for that.
Something I would like to mention to the people in here. StreamYards desperately needs a feature for people to raise their hand so the moderator can say who should go next. So every time you log out of StreamYards, leave them a message about that. If they get 10,000 messages about it, maybe they'll finally put the feature in.
I like that idea.
Didn't we already agree that the moderator have a button that they press that electrocutes people's genitals if they talk when they shouldn't?
That's what I use.
Well, that's going to have to wait until the 3.2 update.
Promises.
That sounds like fun.
Come on, we're just in
That
beta
sounds like
here,
fun.
folks. Come on now.
I'm not updating my genitals.
There would be people interrupting consistently. Like they would never stop interrupting. You've literally given them a bigger carrot and no stick. Like it's all bait at this
Honestly,
point.
that's why I normally like to keep my guests down to 6, because I feel like 9 to 10 is too much. I really do. And I have been on streams and said nothing for the entire stream, less than what you got to say, Purple. Because there's just too many people.
Purple said more than me.
It's just too many people. But anyways, thanks again for coming, everybody. I really appreciate you. Jump over on Mikey's stuff there, and maybe I'll come over and say hi in the chat or whatever. But I gotta piss and I need to eat something. So
I found it.
I'm out of here.
Me too.
Yeah.
So peace out, everybody.
Some dinner.
Yeah, take care of one another, and